Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Who's Views. It's your Wednesday headlines here on Wednesday, the 7th of May, 2025. How are you all? Hope your week is going well. And listen, thank you very much for all dragging yourself away from you and Eden and Doctor Who, because the ambassadors of death have started over there, haven't they? I am gripped. Isn't it fantastic, everyone, to see the Doctor back on telly? Ooh, I know you're all saying, but isn't it been a great week for it though, Being able to see Spearhead from space and then the Silurians, and we finished, well, I got to finish the Silurians episodes today, and now we just started Ambassador. I just absolutely loving it. But that's not the other thing, is it? Because have you heard, everybody? Yep. Well, the Doctor's lucky day still hasn't appeared. And in fact, is the media beginning to turn on the show? That's what we're going to be looking at tonight with this fella here. It's Paul.
Hello there. Hello.
Have you been watching You and Eden?
I've been flicking through the channels and spotting it, and I'm really pleased it's got a +1 channel as well, so you can watch it twice if you want to.
I didn't know that.
I've already watched season 7, and I'm doing a Pertwee marathon, and I just started the Time Warrior today. I've been going through it at that rapid lightning pace, but loving every minute of it. So it's superb.
Isn't it fab?
But what's interesting is they all seem to show repeat Doctor Who when Doctor Who is going bye-byes. You know what I mean? They often do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or is it just me? I'm being paranoid. I don't know. Maybe that's what
I don't know what he means. You Who viewers. I don't know what he means. Rick Storm is saying to us, watch in on you for free. Yeah. I mean, it's great, but it's lovely to see it. And listen, thank you to everybody who's been emailing in and messaging in. I'm going to get you through your emails hopefully towards the end of the week, because it's been a busy week. But thank you for everyone for letting me know that. Paul, did you know that it actually appears that season 7 will continue into season 8 and 9? Because a lot of our Who viewers have been messaging me to tell us that.
Excellent. And hopefully right up until Survival would be good,
Oh, wouldn't that be fab? Wouldn't that be fun? I'd love that. Yeah. All I'd watch is that all the time, that channel all the time, Stephen Bradley with that lovely picture of Matt Smith's Doctor and Amy. I've been doing my bit for Doctor Who on Eden, keeping it on the channel all day. Well, good for you. Good for you. Terrified Monk has given us a little wave there. Thank you. It's nice to see you. Shard Knox is with us saying, howdy, folks. And Rick Storm is actually saying to us, look, I watched all the Doctor Who on you yesterday. What a great day that must have been for you. It's just great, isn't it? Actually, just to have,
and the quality. I think you said yourself, isn't it? The quality is as good as the Blu-ray collection, isn't it? It's really good quality for season 7.
Lovely.
Yeah,
I think they've actually taken the Blu-ray and just popped it in.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. But it's good to see you all. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Lovely to see you. I do want to say a few hellos first of all. Oh, there's Donga. What are you saying to us, Donga? Watch Silurians today. I loved it. God bless you, Eden. Isn't it great? It really is great, isn't it? And Shadnox, I'm watching season 9, Curse of Peladon.
Oh, I love Curse of Peladon. One of my favorites.
You do, don't you? It's one of your favorites. Yeah. Lex Kane, you're very naughty. It's the end Gatwa, but the moment is being prepared for. That's very naughty, yours. And Bill's with us saying, I've watched Spearhead, got Silurians to watch, and Ambassadors just started. It did. For me, it started tonight. It may have started for some of you earlier on today, but it started for this evening. And Woodhouse 122 is saying, shame you and drama is missing out Mind of Evil. I wonder why that is. It must be a rights issue.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard
it's a quality issue. Because it's not, maybe, I don't know. But if they're showing Ambassador of Death, because even on the Blu-ray, Ambassadors isn't perfect, but it's better than it was. But I thought Mind of Evil was better than Ambassadors, so maybe I'm contradicting myself here. I don't know, but we shall see. Maybe
we should. Garbage.
So they're showing Inferno. They're showing Inferno, and that's a Don Houghton story as well. So
yes, fantastic. Garbage is saying to us, Eden isn't on my friend's Freeview box. Ironically, we have ordered a new one just for Doctor Who, proper Doctor Who. Yeah, if only everybody had wanted to do that for the Disney nonsense, eh?
I tried to do that back in the 90s when they went to BSB, and I tried to get a squarial fitted at our house.
No, you did not. Did you get one of those?
Yeah, we did, but it arrived too late. It was going to be fitted in time, so I missed the bloody thing. So
did you cancel it?
I did cancel it, but we got copies of my friends instead who recorded all the programs, all the interviews and stuff.
Hey.
That happens to me all the time, honestly, I tell you. Yeah.
Just like in the old days, where all these videos started to appear for 20 quid. Rory and Cheryl and friends too, good to see. The problem is RTD will be watching and rip it off, and it will be, Is he going to get the opportunity? No.
No.
Is he going to? And from what we hear, he is no longer employed by Bad Wolf. We're going to try and get clarification about that. And we do know he's moved on, but let's see what happens. And hello, David. How are you, David? Sure. I can't wait to see Doctor Who: The Sea Devils on Eden. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Oh my God! You're in for a treat.
You are in for a treat, and you're in for a double treat, David, as well, because I know you're fairly new to our channel. But last year, we did a whole series based on celebrating the Silurians. And we watched Doctor Who and the Silurians, didn't we, Paul? And then we watched Warriors of the Deep, and we did this whole thing where we got together to talk about all of them. Then we did the Matt Smith things.
Yeah.
We've still got the Sea Devils left to review.
Yeah.
And I purposely did that, David, because we've got this other Sea Devils spin-off thing coming on. But actually, yesterday in the car, I was thinking, we could do it when the Sea Devils is on the telly.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? We're doing an old Doctor Who when it's actually on the telly, Paul.
That's superb, yeah. And you can do ratings on it as well for the viewers.
Ratings, yeah. We can see the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite Pertwee stories, Sea Devils, being my first earliest memory of the show. I love the Sea Devils, and they're gonna ruin them, aren't they? Again.
Well, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later on. But yeah, I'm Paul Schlefter. It's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Paul. Nice. Thank you for joining us on your birthday. 1991. I was 10. I got the video of Death of the Daleks as a present from my parents. Good parents. And my first experience with Doctor Who, it made me the fan I am today. I remember when that Death of the Daleks video came out as well. There was so much excitement. Pertwee had gone on tour, hadn't he, around the country with it. Oh,
and it's got that wonderful image of the Dalek in the front on fire, which is a great iconic Q image. Superb. Yeah,
it really was. So, happy birthday, Paul. And there's another Paul Round saying, evening all. Oh, hello, how are you?
That's three so far then.
I know. 3 on the Paulometer. Stephen Bellow is saying to us, in US, Prime Video has a classic Doctor Who channel running 24 hours a day. I watch that more than anything. That's like being in my house.
Yeah.
Eden's more or less like that now. You and Eden, Stephen, is more or less like that right now because they're showing it. They're still showing it from 9 o'clock in the morning or something. And it's great because when you get home from work, whereas I would normally usually not bother with television, now I just go, oh, right, yeah. And it's Pertwee in all his glory, and it's just. I
think it's on 3 times throughout the day, isn't it? The whole 4 episodes or whatever they're showing, isn't it? Something like that.
It is. Yeah, and it's brilliant, and it's on 4 days a week. Is it, Paul?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm sure it's 4 days a week. And Woodhouse 122 saying, I think the Dalek stories are being skipped too. I think they are, but that we know is a rights issue.
Yeah,
nothing much they can do about that at the moment. But because it's on I would imagine it's because it's on another channel rather than the BBC. It's a shame here. And Stephen Talbot, hello Stephen, welcome to Who's Views. I am new here. Well, hello to you. I was told you'd be right up my street from here. Madam years. They were right. I love it. So a great big hello from me and a great big hello from us as well. It's lovely to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to our channel. Give us a like. If you have subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. I'm going to have to say that on every show now. Until the emails stop, until the messages stop. Kirsty's in the chat with us as well. Kirsty, married lady, she's in the chat too. Hiya, Kirst.
Can I say, Kirsty, I hope our trousers are long enough today. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Interesting.
I'll tell you later.
Yes, exactly. Off air. Sheldon Oxford says, I'm watching the collection Blu-rays. Watch at least 1 episode a day. Plus, I love the behind the sofa featurettes. I don't mind them either, Sheldon Ox, to be quite honest. I tend to go to them first. To see what whoever's there makes of the episode they're watching. They're quite interesting and quite revealing, I feel. Yeah.
Sometimes, though, I feel it's like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones because some people criticise the era they're watching and their own era was probably not as good as the one they're watching, but that's my opinion.
I would agree with you. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And Domgo is pointing out to us, Paul, that watching these Eden shows with ad breaks and cliffhangers just proves how perfect Classic Who is for live telly. On the edge of my seat, and I've seen these hundreds of times. Do you know what, Domgo? I was thinking this over the last few days because I've actually said if the BBC has to start taking adverts, it's going to make no difference at all. And here I am watching the Silurians, and the adverts are coming in. And I don't think it makes any difference at all. And it actually can push a 25-minute episode to 30 minutes. So there you go.
Yeah. I've not watched a full episode. I've not watched a full episode in You and Eden, but are they showing them with ad breaks in between, like the first 12 minutes or so? Or is it between episodes?
Both.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, both. They treat the say you've got episode 2 of something finished and you're about to go to episode 3. They treat it as a new show.
Right. Right.
So sometimes you'll get an announcement, sometimes you won't. But it's the
Because
type of thing
sometimes when they have ad breaks, I've seen in other shows that you're really getting into something, and the ad break is a really bizarre place for something that never had adverts before. You know what I mean? So it comes in the middle, almost sometimes in the middle of a line sometimes, and then they cut to and come back again. It's just weird, you know.
No, yeah. No, this one seems to be being thought out and done properly.
That's good.
Well, it's not grating on me like they used to do on the Sky stuff when you used to see them.
Yeah.
You know. Mark Jones is quite rightly pointing out, happy 101st birthday to Laurie Webb, Mr. Ollis in the Three Doctors. Yes,
I saw that on Facebook. Fantastic, isn't it? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ian sent me a text about that the other day saying, have you seen this? And I forgot to put it into the show. So thank you, Mark, for that. Thank you for mentioning it. So happy birthday to Laurie Webb. Julianne's getting in on the on a future show very early. She's giving the Sea Devils 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Spoilers. That's from mine as well.
It's great to see you all. Benign Crinoid is with us as well. The Sea Devils is first rate. I want Venetian blinds on my telly.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't catch on. I don't know why. Yeah. Mind you, that's still come. That was in the future, wasn't it? We've not got them yet. That's why.
We haven't quite got there yet, have we? Steve Black is also saying to us, one day, who will come back? Yes, it will come back with no regrets, no shooty tears, and no anxieties. Well, I'll tell you something else that's going to come back, everybody, that you might be interested in. I know you're not going to be. That's why it tickles me. But you might be interested in this as well, Paul, because, of course, yesterday, it was... yeah, well, I got it today, but apparently it was yesterday it was sent. Stand by your beds, everybody, because I know you're going to be rushing out to buy this as soon as you've seen the cover for next year's Doctor Who annual. Yes, this is the official annual 2026, and there is the cover.
Oh, dear God.
They really don't put any thought into these things anymore, do they?
What an absolute mess. That's a real mess, isn't it? I mean, really.
Yeah. And that's the picture they used last week to promote their social media. Oh, no, their YouTube channel.
Is that the one that what he's standing on in the picture in reality is that bizarre clock thing? Is it? You know,
I'm not sure, actually. I couldn't tell you.
I've seen one picture. Remember he did it a while ago, but he had the tartan.
He had the tartan jacket on, didn't he?
Yeah. The same kind of pose. It's not John Pertwee from season 7, is it? Let's be honest.
No. For me, these things just look. There's no thought. There's no care. It just looks lazy again. And I mean, the response was awful last year, wasn't it? Oh, look at have you seen this? They are all whipping out their wallets and their credit cards to buy this right now in the chat.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yes,
they absolutely are. They absolutely are. Yeah, we've got Michael Hallett saying, "OMG." We do not want to sell any books at all this year, says Garbage. FFS, and that is a skirt, says Bill Lowry. Yes, it is a skirt. It's not a kilt at all. He's wearing his curtains again, says Paul Schlefter. Birthday boy. John is landfill time from the Forbidden Man.
Yeah, just put it straight in the bin. That's the best thing to do with that.
Exactly. What self-respecting kid wants that horrible thing, says Dom Go. Not many of them, according to last year's sales reports.
Well, they're getting thinner and thinner and thinner, aren't they? They're almost a pamphlet rather than an annual. You know what I mean?
They're getting thinner, and the price is getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter.
It is indeed, yeah, exactly.
I believe this is the recommended retail price now of $11.99, but I'll get back to you on that maybe, perhaps. Craig Dunlop is saying skirts in space. Marie UK was saying nothing commands respect like a man in a dress. Listen, we're going on. That's
the Doctor always wears a dress for the occasion now. Let them ask.
I'm very good. I see what you did there. Why are they releasing that book so early, said Trickstorp? They're not. It's going to be available from August. The cover has just been released now because now is when it goes out to any of the bookshops that are left on the street, so they know what they're ordering in. But even these days, it doesn't necessarily go to the bookshops on the street. It goes to their head offices these days, so they can see what they're doing and they can start their internal public. And also, of course, they've all started on their Christmas catalogues now, or as we're forced to call them here in the UK now, winter catalogues.
Yeah. Let's hope it's a draft cover and not the actual cover.
No,
not
it's the actual
buy
cover.
It anyway, but it's an actual cover.
It's the actual cover. Yeah, it was sent to me on a press release thing.
All right.
Raymond Williams saying to us, "Oh, they've definitely thought about it." As I say, they used it last week to publicize their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because I went back onto it. Who Viewers, you'll like this. I went back onto that on their social media post, and I went on saying the majority of us are just there for the original stuff. Don't flatter yourselves.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Exactly.
wicked,
Yeah.
wicked.
The thing is, I mean, as the viewers will
Amaranth.
know, but maybe we should remind them that we did a show about the annuals from the classic era,
We
and they're
did.
works of art. These
Yes.
aren't. I mean, no,
Yeah.
someone actually designed that cover, really, honestly. Yeah.
And we got great feedback from that annual show. So if you're new to us, it's available on the playlist under specials. Because we did that last year, and it was a great one to do.
Great show. Yeah.
And we've got some sequels to that lined up as soon as we get through this stuff that's on right now. So stay with us here on the channel. Amaray, thank you for your comment there. And Anthony Parkinson, the annual will be in Doctor Who in 2026, but Gatwa won't. I'm not even sure the series will be there in 2026, because don't forget, at the moment nothing's being filmed. Stephen Brand is saying that annual is an absolute 100% travesty. Yeah, Gerald Rayner Who. That's a good way to put it, actually. Oh dear, says Joe. And Heretic is saying to us, a friend rescued some 50th anniversary Doctor Who books and Capaldi annuals from being chucked out. I need to get them off it. You do, quickly.
Yeah.
Go and get them before she throws them out, see if they're worth having. That will be the last Who annual published, says Graham. And that will be the only new Doctor Who we'll be seeing in 2026, says Mark A. Wright. Lots of you commenting about that one. I knew you'd like that one. So thank you very much for all that. If you like that one, everybody in the chat, you're going to love this next one, because you remember last week we were talking about this fella, David Tennant.
Who?
And we were talking, David Tennant. And we were talking about this new show he's got called Genius, the Genius Game, which is on ITV1, and it's a great slot. Everybody, we were talking about last week. Do you remember? It's on at 9 o'clock, and we were talking about the fact that it hasn't done very well, and we spoke about it, didn't we? It hasn't done very well in the ratings at all, and people don't seem to like it. The British public haven't taken to it, or is it him? I would venture, because as we try to tell people outside the UK, Mr. Tennant, believe it or not, is not as popular as he used to be with the great British public, because he's been gobbing off on the wrong side of stuff, isn't he? So there we go. But an update on this. This is his Genius Game. An update is now, and this has come from yesterday, from TV Zone. Genius Game pulled from the ITV schedule. Series moves to weekly airings. Due to low ratings, says the report, ITV have pulled Genius Game from its schedules for the next 3 Thursdays. Instead, the show will now air weekly, airing every Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the rest of the series, rather than the planned twice-weekly format. That's interesting, isn't it? Produced by Remarkable Entertainment, viewers would see David take on the role of the creator in the 8-part series, which originates from South Korea, and guide players as they attempt to navigate each uniquely crafted challenge. But who... I'm not bothering with that, it's just publicity. But basically, they're now saying, Paul, this is down to scheduling changes.
Yes, more propaganda. It's just people aren't watching it again. But it'll be doing well on the catch-up service on ITVX or something, won't it? To be honest, that's what's going to happen.
It'd be getting millions, wouldn't it, Who viewers on the catch-up service? Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of Unremarkable Entertainment says problem being Jason's got lots of smiley faces there. So has our John. Peter Venkman fan site is saying, well, Tennant killed everyone's good graces. Yes, he's treaded an awful lot on us there. Lex. Also, it's not getting a second season of David Tennant Quiz Show. It's based on the South Korea quiz. Yeah, it's not getting a second season. We're hearing that. I don't think it's been officially confirmed. Julianne is also giving the lots of faces there. And Stephen Braddock saying, has Tennant tanked? Ooh, I saw what he was like as a game show. Sickly pedantic. Oh, really?
The thing is, they never filmed 2 series back to back. They should have done that. That always works, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they should have done. His new show has been dropped to 1 day a week. Yes, that's right, Heretic. It's so pathetic that Tennant is now a game show host, says Arjar. What were you saying about people becoming game show hosts the other night, Paul?
Well, it seems to be the last nail in a performer or actor's career that they've had to go to a game show because they can't get any other work. So therefore, the career is dwindling, I would say.
I wonder if
they go to Comic-Con. And that's what happens.
Yeah, Comic-Con, yeah. Well, yeah, that's where he's going to get money, because people still love his version of the 10th Doctor, not so much the one he did after that, whatever number that was. Can't remember. Dixie Normus. I love that. Love the small print press fannuals. Yes, lots of those. Yeah.
They're lovely, yeah.
And they are done very nice, and they've been cared for, aren't they? And they're very much in the World Distributor mold.
Yeah.
Which I think is what BBC Books and Penguin need to do, really. They need to do more of this homage and do it like that, because
they tried to do it with the Target books
amazing.
a little bit, didn't they? But they didn't quite pull it off, did they? But
yeah. The ITV controller is the only genius here for shelving this rubbish, says Dom Go. And Marie UK Tennant looks horrendous. The bitterness has definitely risen to the top. Woodhouse 122 is owning up and saying, I saw a bit of it, but it was dreadful. Oof.
It's not great me watching because it sounds a lot of it's like reality TV, a little bit, some of it, because there's sort of a mixture of traitors and Big Brother going on a little bit in between the game show itself, from what I can gather. So it sounds absolutely appalling. The Crypt Factor, it ain't.
Oh, I love the Krypton Factor. I never understood it, but I loved it.
Yeah, I could have been right enough.
Do you remember when they did that junior one?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah.
Well, I wrote in for that and never heard back from them, and I'm so glad. So glad.
It was, remember they used to have like an assault course you had to go through. Remember that as well?
Yeah.
And then you had to come back and do the quiz version, and then all the IQ puzzles and things like that. Incredible stuff.
It looked great stuff. Andy also says, hi, we watched the first part of Genius Game. It was garbage. It was boring as hell. That was the problem. That's why people didn't tune in after the first episode. So instead of being now Wednesdays and Thursdays, as the run was supposed to be, it's now going to be Wednesday nights. So let's see what happens with that. I do find it ironic that a show called Genius is hosted by a person who can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, says Plymouth Who. Correct. Yeah. And Dixie Norman's making a brilliant point here. Well done for this. Tennant is no whodunit. Oh,
that's true. Oh, yeah.
Pertwee, showing he was very versatile and not caring. Do you know what I mean?
And you can watch them on a Tube of You as well. They're superb. I recommend them.
You've told me about that before, haven't you? I never.
And you can see lots of, I think Nick Courtney's in one, Katie Manning's in one. There's lots of Who actors in it. So pop along and watch that. Superb, much better than this garbage. I have to ask though, is this show that he's doing now, the Tennant show, actually big in Korea? Is it a massive game show in Korea?
I bet you they're not even showing it. No, you mean their version? Apparently,
their version.
But then what else did they get? Because they don't really import any. Anything else, do they really?
Right, yeah. But I wondered if it was for their public a massive show, like, I don't know.
I think it's one of their top 10 favorite shows at the moment. But as I say, they don't really take. Well, they won't take American stuff. They don't take British stuff, really, do they?
Yeah,
it's all their own stuff. Wow. But no, great point there, Dixie Enormous. Absolutely, you're right there. And Mark Milford saying to us, this show may be crap, but that's a nice TARDIS set. It suits like a would-be master or Doctor costume. Lots of fans looking at those pictures of that show and getting the link.
It does look like he's just revamped the Capaldi TARDIS a bit, isn't it? A wee bit,
They think we're insane. Actually, but it hasn't paid off because nobody's been watching. Nobody's been watching it at all. But there you go. I knew you'd like that one, everybody. Lots of cheeky chat going on as well, but nice to see Jess in there as well, and Duncan Nevins, good to see you. And Adrian James is saying, I remember Who Done It. I remember it vaguely as well, and remember liking it, so I must go back and revisit it. So I will do that at some point. But it just shows you, doesn't it, really, as you were saying in the chat there, it's common sense that this is what used to happen, everybody. When a show dipped below a certain amount of ratings, something would happen. It would either get moved to an alternate channel if there was one available, or like in the case of this Genius Game, it's been reduced to one night a week, etc., etc. That would happen, wouldn't it, Paul?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Is this not actually on ITV1? It's not on like ITV2 or one of the kind of sister lower channels? Or that's
on ITV1, and surprisingly, still going to be for the foreseeable future. But there you go.
Really?
Yeah. So let's catch up and see where we are with Doctor Who, shall we, everybody? Because that hasn't happened yet, and we all know the result of the last episode. But let's have a look at this. This has come from theweek.com. Is it time for Doctor Who to retire? Viewer apathy could prove the ultimate foe for the Time Lord, and lukewarm reviews and falling ratings. So this is written by Chaz Burden, who's been part of the Week digital team for more than a decade and a journalist for 25 years. Now, I've put this there because look at this. He has also written in his time for Loaded, which was a lads mag in the 90s and turn of the century, and Attitude, which was originally an LGB magazine, which has now been taken over by, of course, the TQ cult and doesn't cater to LGB people at all. He now writes regularly for The Guardian, The Telegraph, The Independent, The Metro, round of applause, 442, and the iNews site. Okay, I just thought that was interesting, so we can get the context as where he's coming from while he's talking.
I remember Loaded. Yes, that was it. I couldn't quite reach.
Oh, you do.
I couldn't quite reach. It was too high up.
Oh, those lads mags, I tell you. Some of them were quite fun, though. Some of them were quite fun. We go, oh, she's gorgeous, isn't she? Yeah. And then we always do things like cars and stuff. And we're like, well, I'll have one of those cars. Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't for us. It wasn't for my market at all. But we would look at it and appreciate the glamour. Moving
but
on.
Attitude was kind of a similar kind of a gay version of that, wasn't it? To be honest,
it wasn't as laddish, but yes, it did try, and it had the bands and the pop culture of the time, and it had the DJ circuit because that was big in the gay culture before it hit the straight market. Lots of stuff, fashion, that sort of stuff. But now it's completely.
But they often had a hunky man on the front with his top off, didn't they? Quite often, I remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the rule. Well,
of course,
you're not allowed to do that now.
They're not. No,
you're not allowed to do that. It's always got to be a TM now, hasn't it? Anyway, let's get into this particular story. We've got this here. Record low audiences have put the future of the longest running science fiction show in the world in doubt. The eponymous hero of Doctor Who may have vanquished diabolical enemies like the Daleks all through time and space, says Martin Bellham in The Guardian, but he's now facing his greatest threat, viewer apathy. Since RTT returned as the series showrunner in 2023, Doctor Who has developed an ultimately damaging obsession with chasing a family audience, said Ed Power in The Independent. RTD seems determined to turn the Doctor into a glorified children's entertainer, costing the show its ability to conjure and chill at tea time. The smartest thing that RTD could do is to rewind to a previous era and focus on what made Doctor Who work in the first place. Make it scary again. During its original run, the show was the cleverest, funniest, and scariest primetime drama on a budget soap operas with pity, said Mike Bartlett in The Critic. We looked at that the other day. What the modern incarnation with its Disney mouse dollars overlooks is that we don't see what we don't see can scare us now. It needs to return to a spirit of creativity and embrace suspense and smarts over spectacle. Doctor Who also needs to pull back from the wider tendency for pop culture to lecture its audience. The series has traditionally held a mirror up to society, but in recent years, its subtext has become main text, often directed bluntly at a diminishing audience. Good television doesn't have to be a manifesto. We can tolerate programming that dares us to pay attention instead of assuming we need instruction. Now more than ever, maybe we could all do with some high-quality escapism. No formal decision about the show's future will be made until after the current season has finished airing, said the Radio Times. But RTD has already told Parade that he can promise fans amazing stuff further down the line, with plans that will bear fruit a long time into the future. Rumours of the franchise's demise have been exaggerated. Doctor Who historian and long-term fan David Howe told the Metro when the show was cancelled in 1989, it was not the massive brand that it is today. Even if TV bosses are looking to save some money, he said Doctor Who wouldn't even register in their conversations now because it's bringing in so much cash. Of course you're going to make it. It's making a fortune for you. Well, it was. It's frustrating to hear so much talk about the show's future when its present on Disney Plus is so much fun, said Tom Beasley on Yahoo Entertainment. While all of this outside noise about potential cancellations is chuntering away in the background, Doctor Who is quietly delivering one of its best and most surprising series to date. That's the one we're all watching now, by the way. Leave the obsession around viewing figures to suit wearing boardroom dwellers. All fans should care about is whether they're getting the best possible science fiction silliness. So thank you to The Week for putting that really good recap together, I think, because it shows you just where we are right now, I think, about what we've covered as well, what we've talked about, where we all are, and the fact that some of them are in denial, isn't it?
Well, there's so many people in denial. I was having a conversation with someone who remained nameless on Facebook and saying that all the reviews for current Doctor Who have all been positive. I'm sorry, it's not been positive completely. People have liked it. Some people have. Not as many as I'd probably like, based on the viewing figures. But certainly the reviews from the newspapers or the magazines have not been all positive. There's been mixed reviews or some really bad ones as well. And that's what happens with any TV show, but it's not all been good. So people are delusional, the ones who are believing it's not bad, because it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. I mean, all I can think of, everybody, when they're saying that this series is the best thing for a while, is that they basically compared it to last year and possibly one of the Whittaker ones, which I can't talk about because I didn't know
a friend of mine who's a fan, same age as me, likes the current year. He quite likes some of it. And he said, it's better than last year. I said, it is, but it's a low bar. And he agreed. But he thinks it's better than last year. You know what I mean? So, so it's hard. If you're gauging on that, not gauging on what was considered to be a really good season, even if you're talking about New Who, like season 4 New Who, which is a cracking season, that was really good when it was really good. So if you compare it to that, this is rubbish. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a very low bar to put. I think it's sad though that everybody has just forgotten what Doctor Who is.
Yeah.
You know, they really have. Bet you could count the good reviews on one hand, says Marie UK. And
Yeah.
Gary Jones is with us. Hello, Gary. Copa's going to cope. Well, the fact is, Gary, I don't think they are. And good grief. Let's see what's going to go and happen over the next few weeks, months, as this thing carries on. Because, oof, I think they're going to freak out. I've said that many times, but I'm genuinely worried about a lot of them because they're not going to cope at all.
Yeah, they're not at all. No.
Dalek Ice saying what we all think. I think it would be great if Doctor Who can be a sci-fi show again and not just a stupid fantasy show. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, let's have a look again because I thought that was a great way to actually get back in touch with where we're up to and do a quick recap. So again, thank you to the week for doing that. Oh, one of new Doctor Who's biggest allies over the last few years has, of course, been the Standard. I know it as the London Evening Standard, but in the last few years, it's gone through a rebrand, Paul, to be just called the Standard now. And the actual newspaper.
Does it cost less to put the letters on when you're printing the newspaper?
It could be that. Yeah. I don't know why.
Cost-cutting exercise. That's it. Yeah.
I think it's a great shame that any city or town which had a paper named after it should drop the name of the town or city. I think when it comes to that, I think it's so sad because be proud of where you are, be proud of you. And the London Evening Standard, when I was there, was one paper that you would get every week because it used to have in those days, of course, massive job sections in the middle of the paper. Now, of course, it doesn't. But I suppose that's the modern world. Everything's gone online, and it's lost in essence, really. I think, but they don't call themselves the London Evening Standard; they call themselves the Standard. But they have been very supportive of Doctor Who over the last few years, and they've actually gone along with the narratives that have been presented in Doctor Who, and in fact enforced on the Watcher.
Yeah.
And then this happens. From today, Doctor Who needs to stop lecturing us. Its morality policing is getting hard to swallow. The show is veering off course in its desire to thumb its nose at its critics, and not always successfully. So let's have a look at this, everyone, because this is my, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, oh, slowly the ship is turning, and the media are now arguably looking at this and starting to say, oh, and I wonder if it's because society is changing, the viewing, people are becoming more confident in saying what they, what is truth and what is reality. And see what you think about this, Paul. See what you think about this, Who Views. Let's get into it from the Standard. It happened again this week. Doctor Who decided to take a break from telling a story to offer up a moral lesson of the state of humanity. The episode, Lucky Day, was all but wrapped up. The premise was a fun one. Former companion Ruby falls for a guy, only to find out he's a Joe Rogan-type alien-denying fake news type. You know, the one that stages elaborate pranks to disprove that aliens exist. But shoehorned into the last 5 minutes of the episode, we were treated to the spectacle of the Doctor lecturing its villain, Conrad, on the myriad evils of those peddling fake news on the internet, or, as the Doctor put it, weaponizing lies. You are exhausting, Gatwa proclaimed as Conrad sneered back. You stamp on the truth. Yawn. Is it just me, or is Who serving us rather a lot of these quasi-lectures these days? During its last episode, The Well, we encountered the excellent Rose Ayling Ellis as Alice, the only surviving member of a space base that has been ravaged by a mysterious enemy. While Belinda is treating Alice, she reacts with surprise on discovering that Belinda can't sign. A nurse who can't sign? That's against the law, she says at one point. Well, we have different laws, Belinda agrees, but you're right, it should be the law. Is that Belinda talking, or is it showrunner RTD? Moments like these are popping up increasingly frequently in Doctor Who and taking attention away from what the show should be doing, which is serving up good storytelling. That's not to say I'm against any of the things it's advocating for, they add very, very quickly. I'm pro-sign language, I'm anti-cancel culture, and any use of the word woke makes me roll my eyes fast enough to get friction burns. The criticism over the show being too diverse in any way is something I disagree with massively. A cast and storylines that are bursting with different viewpoints and opinions are way more interesting than bland beige ones. Oh, God. All the things Who is walloping over his other head with are things that I, in theory, support. And yet the way in which these points are being presented almost make me want to disagree for the sake of it. There was the robot back in episode 1 that we're explicitly told is an incel, despite the fact that all these clues are very pointedly laid out for us over the course of the preceding 40 minutes. Did we need that? Probably not. Or looks. where the Doctor and Belinda rock up in 1950s Miami, and Belinda has to be educated on the realities of racism in America. Her horror is justified, but the Doctor's exposition does feel like a crunchingly awkward moment, as does his declaration to live and shine, a brush-off moment where the gloss of sci-fi bumps up against depressing reality. The whole thing comes off as clumsy and detracts from the flow of the episode, no more so than in that Gatwa monologue in Lucky Day. I mean, sure, it was nice to see him make an appearance at the end of the Dr. Light episode, and he sold it for all he was worth, but it went on just a little bit too long and left me, as a viewer, feeling like I'd been lectured to. People don't want to be hit over the head with moral issues. The best episodes added those things in via stealth. Back in the early days of Doctor Who, and she's talking about 2005 here, John Barrowman's companion, Captain Jack, was presented very matter-of-factly as gay, and the show's refusal to make a big deal out of it, this was 2007, remember, felt like it was own kind of activism. Doctor Who should be exploring these kinds of issues. That's what the show is for, and what I'd argue sci-fi should be for. Don't agree with some of that. So I don't agree with the fact that's what sci-fi is. Sci-fi isn't political in my eyes, really. Sci-fi is science fiction. It's science fiction.
Well, I think any form of filmmaking or TV or theatre really fundamentally, I think, has to be entertaining first. It's a form of entertainment. If there's a message in there, fine, great, brilliant. But we said this on the Blake 7 review on Monday, that having two sides of an argument, if you're going to present some point of view, you have to have the other side of that argument in order to have a balanced view of it. Otherwise, it's not fair, and you're then preaching. If you have a balance, you're not preaching, you're giving two options of it. That's a fairer side of any form of message. But it needs to be entertaining for me as a fan, has to be fun, and that could be an extra layer if I wanted to be there, you know?
Yeah, like they used to do in the old days.
Yeah.
You know, where it was subtle. But now it hasn't been, and it's amazing to me that people like this person in the Standard are just suddenly realizing, when fans have been saying this since 2017, maybe even 2015, 2016, when it started to rear its ugly head. They wouldn't dare criticize any of the diverse writers like this, as problem being they had to wait until Pete McTighe before they could put the boot in. There you go, McTighe, find out the hard way.
And that because he's an old gammon like we are. That's why. That's probably.
Yeah. Probably. And different views, points, and opinions. Is he watching the same show? Says Mike Disney. This again, that's the other thing. In Doctor Who, it's not a soap. It's not a reality television show. There shouldn't be different viewpoints and opinions. It's a script. Yeah. It's a script, and it's usually something to do with monsters from outer space trying to take over the planet Earth or wherever, and trying to suppress the Doctor or whatever, and the Doctor fighting the forces of darkness. That's what it's about.
It's good versus evil. That's the kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So where are the viewpoints and opinions that, you know, the diverse viewpoints? These people have now, Paul, in my opinion, been reared on a Doctor Who that went too far down the soap opera route.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm worried.
That's never going to come back. Death. I found that Lucky Day, you probably did as well. All the romance stuff was really boring and just like, oh please, you know. And then all the shoehorned romance with Kate Stewart and the Colonel, that was just, oh god, how embarrassing, you know. But
again, it's a soap opera element, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is embarrassing. But you know, I've had this argument with various people for years now. I've never liked that soap opera element, because here we now have people that haven't discovered the original and far superior series. Thank God for you and Eden, and let's hope that they are. Let's hope that they're discovering those brilliant scripts from season 7, and then they see how it develops in 8 and 9. Please, let's hope that's happening. And then they can compare it to today's crap, and they can see just how useless and worthless today's stuff is, because it's just, well, it's EastEnders, Coronation Street and Hollyoaks on acid, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
I've said before, if you take out the police box and the logo, that's about only Doctor Who bits that are in it, to be honest, you know?
Exactly. We've got Cara with us. Hello, Cara. I'd rather watch the older episodes on Rewind TV, or Eden, of course. Just watch the Silurians and the story. Yeah. Rick Storm is saying, I loved Conrad telling the Doctor to get off his planet. We talked about that in depth on our review show on Sunday when we reviewed Lucky Day. I don't think Gatwa pulled it off, and I still don't. I haven't gone back to watch the episode because I never will. But from where he is in my memory of seeing it and wincing all the way through, I don't think he pulled it off. I don't think he had the gravitas.
No, I agree completely. He was really weak, and the outfit didn't do him any favors whatsoever that he's wearing. You know.
No, you didn't like that outfit, did you?
No.
All the white.
I'm no fashionista, but that's awful. So yeah.
Well, he might have been on his way to a club in Ibiza, circa 2004.
If they put that in the dialogue, I'd have accepted that and gone with it. But they didn't. So. And they didn't even say that in Unleashed either. So it's
well, there you go. Well, it might have been. No, in that particular incarnation of the Doctor. Yeah, it could have been going to a white party somewhere. William Orlock is with us as well. Hello, William. How are you? And what's this? RTD2, as the Americans say, has got a bug up his ass about his critics. I just think it's very... As Woodhouse 122, the shills are starting to turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting noticeable. I've got a couple more for you. Marine Boy, nice to see you. Welcome. And problem being, saying science fiction is a critique on the modern world by projecting it to its logical conclusion, but it is supposed to present it critically, not emotionally. Yes, and there's a hell of a lot of emotion that have gone into these things now. Even our lead character, a Time Lord who's ancient from the planet Gallifrey, is crying.
Sometimes.
It's mainly every episode, isn't it? Okay, you didn't that, but you didn't
get. I meant it's from the planet Gallifrey. Sometimes that's what I meant.
Sorry.
I know. I'm just being facetious. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you are, but yeah, you're right to point out. I will never acknowledge that. I think that's stupid.
No, I don't either. I'm just being silly. So it's
fine. You're right though, aren't you? That's what they did. Recreated his background. Ridiculous thing to do. Michael Hallett, hello there. I hope I don't have to wait 10 years or so again. I'll be in my 60s. For it to suck. We're gonna know, aren't we? We are gonna know. Yes, the article did come from the Standard, Craig Dunlop. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Please do give us a thumbs up, and please like the channel if you're new to us. It's great to see you. Mark Greaves is pointing out now who's on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. The thing about Doctor being cancelled and coming back soonish or whatever, I'm so not excited for whatever they do with it next, because they've just spoiled it so much. You know what I mean? You kind of think, what are they going to do with it in 2 years' time? Will it be any better? Probably not. You know, it's like.
And as I point out from this article and others that we look at in headlines and our review shows, I'm concerned about who would take it over now, because they think it's a soap or a form of a soap opera and put too much emotion in and all this sort of stuff. That's why I think, because of all the baggage that these 20 years of this reboot Who has done, is park it, forget it, and go and look at the original 26 years. That's the Doctor. Get it done that way. I agree with about 85% of the article, Stephen Braddock. Yeah, it's an interesting article, isn't it? Very interesting. Gordon Webster saying to us, Terrence Dick said any message should be buried under the story, not the story itself. He did.
Yeah. He's very, very right. Yeah.
He'd be livid today, wouldn't he, Uncle Terry? He would watch this stuff and be livid.
They need to go back and look at the original first series with Hartnell and just see the premise, how that worked. The idea of the Doctor being a traveller lost in time is fantastic. Can't get back to their own civilization, can't get back to Earth or the companions. That is really exciting and interesting. I wish they would do that again, you know?
Yeah. Oh, totally, yeah.
Because even though they're trying to do that now, we're trying to get Linda back. It's not the same. It's not got the same.
It's not, but it doesn't help that she's not really a likable character. And because you've only got 8 episodes, who cares? I mean, we've just missed one of them because they just gave it away, didn't they? So we don't know. I mean, you do need more of an out of a 13-week run of the previous versions of this Doctor Who that they did, you could do at least 10 weeks of trying to get her back home.
Yeah, they should have, like you said in the review on Sunday, they should have kept Millie for the 2 seasons and worked on her, developed her. And if they were going to do the awful storyline about her finding her mum at the end of season 2, then fine. But have all the bit in between would be more interesting just with her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But,
yeah.
But it's only 16 episodes for one character. It's not long at all, is it? Really? You know.
And you never learnt anything, considering that we was watching the episodes with Tegan back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know. Because they got rid of it in her first season, didn't they? By Black Orchid, she's happy and fine and dandy and realizing what an opportunity she's got, and then she stays for another 2 years.
Anti-Who.
Anti-Who, yeah. Sorry, the plot of the Silurians is much better than whatever the hell this is, says Cara Hughes. I was thinking that as well when I've been watching You and Eden over the last couple of days, just thinking this is good.
The plot of Silurians is a masterpiece. Malcolm Hulk's writing's amazing. It really is.
RTD's not a patch. He's nowhere near Hulk. Nowhere near him.
No.
If you were the next showrunner, says David B, would you have a 30 years plus companion like Catherine Tate? My choice would be Tuppence Middleton. Would I do that? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out at all, no.
I don't think he needs a young companion, to be honest, but it
Well,
depends on how they're trying to drive the audience. You know what I mean? But
I think the success of Catherine Tate shows that I think the audience will go with it because the kids actually really liked her as well, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rule it out. I would see who I would cast as the Doctor and then find the right actress to play against him.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't rule out. I would sort of specify people from the age of about 24, possibly 25. But if any of the more mature actors came around and they got it and there was a rapport, she'd get the job.
I mean, I think I know Bog Fanish did it with Evelyn, which was superb.
Evelyn,
that was brilliant.
Yeah.
The Sixth Doctor, so well done. God bless Maggie Stables, who's sadly not with us. She was brilliant, and that worked really well. And it could work. It could work potentially.
Right. Yeah. And I think an audience, because you're looking for a brand new audience eventually, aren't you? Because it's not there at the moment. You have to reboot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have to try something. So thank you for that, David B. Thank you. JT says, Jess, exactly. And the Doctor is an alien, not some damn political extremist. Although he has become a political extremist, hasn't he, through the script? And we've got here from Mark A. Wright, the idea of someone infiltrating and then exposing them on social media would have made a great season arc, but to think this guy had a podcast and a hashtag completely. I just didn't understand what it was all about, really. I just thought, going back, wasn't as dangerous as I think it could have been, Paul.
Yeah, I was going back to the Doctor being an alien. I love the fact in season 7, since we've been repeated, since the War Games, we found out he's a Time Lord, and he constantly references he's not human as it's going on, which is wonderful, especially in Spearhead or in Silurians. He's telling, Channing or telling the old Silurian he's not a human being and stuff like that. That's superb. Love all that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yokai 63, slushy romance and soap opera themes have no place in Who. I agree with that. That's why I've never liked it since it came back in 2005. I can now actually understand why a lot of original fans didn't take to this version. I mean, I was never comfortable with certain things, as you'll all know if you're a regular viewer, but I put up with it because it was Doctor Who. And I would turn a blind eye and think, well, that's not going to work. Or, all that lovey-dovey crap. Couldn't be done with all that. I didn't like any of that. It wasn't Doctor Who for me. But it's led us to where we are now. And it's just got lazier and lazier and sloppier and sloppier. And now where are we? In the gutter.
I thought the initial soap opera elements worked okay a little bit with Jackie and stuff. But then I thought that was just a novelty of it starting, and then we get rid of all that. But it kept coming back more and more, didn't it? Every companion had a backstory and a family and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. And they've become, even Moffat was relying on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at all that stuff with Clara and Nan and all that. Oh,
yeah.
So boring. It's so awful.
Yeah.
And then we get what you were telling me about in the Wiz career. And now we've got this with Millie Gibson, who's a strained mother. And now we've got all this. Oh, no. Sorry, can't be done with this. Just awful writing. Rose Kirby. Hey, just think it's only 21 days, 528 hours until the finale. Thanks for that, Rose.
I've counted that as well.
I hope they go quick and that there's a nice conclusion to Doctor Who. Don't forget, we've still got the 5 episodes of this spin-off thing to round it all off and close the door on it.
That's going to be Sea Devils meet Mills and Boone, no doubt. That'll be what it's like.
I'm not looking forward to that. How many of us are looking forward to that on this channel? How many of you are going to? I'm really not. We'll see what happens with it, because apparently this finale that's coming up is going to bleed into it, and you get some sort of trailer after this series promoting it and announcing the date. So I hear.
I think it's already started, GT, with last week. You've got that.
Oh, that was the pilot.
Setting up, wasn't it, with the unit characters already and their initial relationships, It
was pretty obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. PTA, Paul Thomas Ashworth is with us. Yes, you liked Lucky Day. Good for you. But as the week has passed, the more I've seen the plot holes, big ones. Yeah, I mean, I hope it hasn't spoiled your enjoyment too much, but there are. But then show me a Doctor Who episode in the last 2 years and those crappy things in 23 that there weren't plot holes. I mean, I'm still waiting for the reason as to why the Whittaker Doctor regenerated into a David Tennant Doctor with a similar outfit on.
Yeah, that's interesting. That he said, all will be explained, he said.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It never was.
Yeah.
Garbage is saying to us, the shills turned. I love that word shills. It reminds me of the seaside. Where's that come from? The shills turned at the end of the Jodie era, and then they turned back again where Shooty started. Now they've gone again. And a lot of the Whittaker fans obviously didn't stay around for Gatwa, you hypocrites.
Yeah.
I tell you. There's Domgo, with another one about shills leaving the ship. And who, Janus? Hello, mate. How are you? Gatwa has no gravitas. He has mavitas.
Hey,
Don't you
Mavitas,
start.
yeah.
There's the other one. They haven't gone through all that Mavity stuff yet, have they?
They haven't. No. I just loved the previous Avatar was up with a little Sweet Davros. That was superb. That was really nice.
The Sweet Davros. We love that. We love Sweep. He was always a bit naughty. Why did I always go for the Hartley Hair, Zippy, and Sweep? Why did I always like the naughty ones?
They're more exciting than the heroes, aren't they? The boring ones.
Yeah. Sooty, what a wuss. Matthias Kerplam, says to Morpin, also had a very authoritarian message that the people challenging the giant, oppressive and shady system, Corp, Org, were the problem, just like in Lucky Day. Yeah, but they also did that sort of thing in 73 Yards as well, didn't they? It was the sort of the message there as well. And you just knew that chap there was another chap, which I believe they also did, Paul. You were telling me they also did the other chap in in that one that you're talking about there, Kablam. That's a poor.
Yeah, Kablam. They had a young white guy being the villain who was against the corporate system. Yeah.
And wasn't there the pastiche of the naughty president as well in one of the ones?
Yes, they did. With Jodie's one, they had Chris North from Sex and the City playing like a Trump type kind of character. Yeah.
Pathetic, isn't it? Sulking. Exorphan. Nice to see RTD and McTighe, two angry white men writing episodes which angrily complain about angry white men. Irony much. Good point. This is why I've always said, people have been saying, McTighe for showrunner. I'm not so sure. I think we get more of the same. Gary Jones is saying to us, RTD needs to be shown the door if it does come back. It might have happened, allegedly. Stay with us. We're trying to get to the bottom of all the rumours. Sharda Knox is saying, exactly, Paul. They've ruined its reputation so much that there may not be a way back for the show.
Yeah. And that's a sad state to be in, even with in 89 when it was pulled off the air, it still had some element of Doctor Who in it, you know.
Not
anymore. Yeah.
Well, that's my point, isn't it? I can't see the Doctor in Gatwa's performance at all, and that's basically down to the performance, the direction, but more importantly, the writing.
It's all amazing to me what Russell saw in him at the audition. If he was so good at the audition, they blew him away, if you pardon the expression, and he actually got the job. How come he got the job? If he's so good, I can't see it in the writing or the performance.
I can't wait to see who else auditioned, because as we know, it's all going to come out. We might have to wait a little bit of time, but it will come out. And wouldn't it be good if we all found that out and came back and did a little chat about it, everybody? Who we could have got? Because we've heard some of the alleged names.
Yeah.
I'm gutted if they're true. I'll tell you, I'll be very angry.
If they are true, I'll be gutted. Yeah. The doctors we never had. Yeah.
Listen, thank you to Marie UK for your super chat. Children's entertainment shouldn't include sex. Of course it does. But have you seen how much the BBC are pushing the issues on their programmes? I am stunned, shocked, and disgusted by how much certain issues come up, not just sex, because it's not done properly, because they're always talking about the trans side of stuff and the non-binary side, which non-binary doesn't exist. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Have you seen Children in Need as well this year? They've put out recently this week, this has annoyed me, the fact that some of the children in need money that the British public put into, and it's going down every year, by the way, about how much money people they're getting, so I believe, allegedly, it's going to youngsters to deal with non-binary youngsters and all this. We'll bring it to you properly when I get over the shock, because I was just so angry about it. I thought, no, they're feeding fantasy rather than having the guts to turn around as an adult should and say, you're talking nonsense, sit down.
My understanding of Children in Need, though, isn't it, that although all the money's for charity, all the presenters get paid, don't they? Like a normal charity. Yeah, they do. So they have to pay for their exorbitant fees first, and then what's left goes to whatever causes they go to. But when Terry Wogan did it, if he got his fee, whatever, and he do marathon stints at it, but now they've got the bits that I've seen of it, they've got about 8 different presenters throughout the night doing little hour-long slots.
Because it was
thing.
very homespun in our day for the simple
It
reason
was.
they reused sets, the sofas from all the shows. You recognised everything. It was done on the cheap. Terry reduced the cost as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And he would do the whole night, wouldn't he? With occasionally John Lumley or Sue or somebody coming in.
Yeah.
To assist him or give him a break. But now you're right, it's a massive production now. And then I hear that allegedly people involved with the production are getting great salaries for this. The charity itself is very questionable. But when they're actually doing, allegedly, and when they're actually doing stuff like this, where they're actually releasing a poster to say, we're going to be supporting children who are non-binary, how can you? They don't exist, you bloody morons. Thank you for that, Marie. Thank you for your super chat. Trek Matt is with us. Hello, Trek Matt. I think it needs to be an older Doctor Who actually has a presence on screen, who doesn't cry every episode and calls everyone babes or honey. Yeah, that was a
Bring back Capaldi.
It's one of the many massive mistakes that all that babes, honey, cry. That's an old man, i.e. RTD, at 62, thinking that's what kids say. No, they don't. No, they don't. Not all of them. No. And the Doctor should be a role model. He shouldn't be fitting in. I mean, it's just no wonder people have switched off in their millions. Hello to Dan Tales 84. Nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. I think if it does not come back for season 3, leave it a couple of years, then reboot it properly, but start with a fresh first Doctor. Now that I've said that, haven't I, Paul?
Yeah,
I've said that actually, Dan, because my argument now, in hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, is had they had the balls back in 2003 and 2004 to say, right, we're bringing Doctor Who back, but this is Doctor One, Day One.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be in the mess we're in now, because it would have been a totally different show, a totally different series, a totally different character. And then the whole thing about gender bending him and changing him into a woman wouldn't have mattered, because you could have done that because it was a new series. All these other alternative, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have had the fan base come back to it as big as it was. That's the only reason they did it. Oh, this is number 9.
Yeah.
We all came back to it from the original days, I think, Dan. But that's the reason I think they did it. No, it's because he was insistent. Do you remember, Paul? This is a continuation. But I do agree with you. It's an option they should look at if they bring it back in a few years' time, to be able to say, do we reboot it? It's an option. And then they can go wherever they want with it. And we as fans can go with it or not go with it. Work for Battlestar Galactica, let's face it.
I think they probably could do that, and it would make sense just to get rid of all the baggage, like you've been saying. There's so much baggage now than there was before, but just starting afresh without worrying about that. They kind of started to do that with 2005, didn't they? A little bit. They did, although it was a continuation. They said they were very cautious about what they brought back and what continuity was involved, all that kind of stuff, which worked brilliantly. Having the Daleks back was great. That was enough. But it wasn't too bogged down in continuity or Hartnell's in a flashback or something like that kind of thing. Although that came later, they kept it minimal, which was brilliant.
Yes, you're right. But you're right that they did it. They did it with thought and consideration. They actually thought about the public. Which monsters will they know? Daleks, the Cybermen, the potato head ones, the Master. The greats, the big ones, because they were right. The public did know them, and a lot of Notwees came back for those episodes. Oh, I remember that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that legacy that Classic Who had will be the same for this era. I don't mean Shooty. I mean the reboot whole thing, 2005 to now. I don't think there'll be children doing the same thing, thinking, "Wow." Coming back, comes back again. I remember watching this in 2005 when I was 6 or whatever, and loving it. You should watch this. I don't think this is the same impact. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. I totally agree. I mean, the impact at the moment is negligible because there's nobody watching these series. I mean, we've proved it, haven't we? And we all know it. From Whittaker onwards, the viewing figures have gone down weekly to the point where now they're in the toilet, and it's absolutely embarrassing. Nobody's watching. The kids aren't watching. They've got better things to do. And although that we do get them, we all know that the amount of alleged fans here that are screaming at us, oh, but the television doesn't matter. They're all watching on an iPlayer. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not.
I mean, I agree with the fact that television across the board is down, but you can still think about the fact that if people aren't watching it, they're simply not watching it. So if they're not watching the BBC, they're off watching Netflix or Amazon or whatever, and watching other choices,
Or are youngsters doing something else? Now, I don't think necessarily they're all going out like we did. Although I was told this week that by a friend of mine who has kids, she said, "Oh no, my kids are out at the moment because it's sunny." that was music to my ears, to be honest.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking,
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
they're doing something I recognize as being normal. They're not
Yeah.
sitting at home with a video game or something, you know.
Yeah.
Or are they watching things like this? Are they moving to the tube of Who more? I think that's possible because there's so much great content. And there again, they could be watching things here. I mean, you can get all sorts of entertainment from the past on this platform now, can't you? It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
As well as fresh content from people that they might be. We all know about the YouTubers that are finding the audience and connecting with their audience, especially the young ones, turn them into some sort of hero. And
They're
then they
probably
turn
making their own
dancing.
content as we speak, probably. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hartley Hare should be PM, says Armoray. I totally agree.
Here.
And Mark
Yeah,
Reeves, thank you for your super chat as well. JT and Paul, there was a companion from the original Who that you thought wasn't going to be any good, but one moment story turned it around. Was there a companion from original Who that you thought wasn't going to be any good, but one moment or story turned it around? That's a great question, Mark. Thank you for that.
That's a hard one.
It is, because the ones that I think weren't going to be any good weren't.
I assume you're thinking the same one I was thinking of was one who turned up in season 18. But
very, very probably.
Yeah.
You're always waiting for, anyway, bless him. He's a lovely fella in real life.
Yeah.
Was there a companion that you thought was
There's only one I can think of hand who started off quite bad, got better in another medium, and then came back recently. Bonnie's better now than she was in the 80s. That's only one I would say that's kind of got better, I think.
Right.
Maybe.
And Bonnie, of course, is back in this season as well. Yeah. She's back in a few weeks' time. I don't know, Mark. I can't think of anyone. The only one, I'm going to say it now, Adric. Adric for me was when he came into the show, I was 10, and I was expecting more from Adric because he was nearer to my age, and I don't think we got it. No reflection on Matthew. I just didn't think Adric was done properly.
I think he worked better with Tom than he did with Peter Davison, I think.
As well. And it was pretty obvious that Davison did not like the character because he was more fond of the Nissa character. But is there a moment, nothing turned it around for me for Adric. He was just always there, wasn't he, sulking?
Yeah, I mean, all the kind of good classic ones like Joe and Sarah and Liz,
they were strong.
Hit the ground running immediately. You know, you love them. Even I thought, having watched the Pertwee era again, watched Terror of the Autons, Joe does start off a bit irritating a little bit, I think, and then gets better. I think she goes on as Katie gets more confident in it, but she's still really good.
But that's what you call character development, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Even Harry hit the ground running, and I remember I'm very fond of Harry because as a little boy, I loved his duffel coat, and he was funny, and I liked him.
And his bumblingness, that was superb. I would like to love that as a kid. That was really good, you know.
I think that's what got us as kids because he was like a kid, really, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, you're all fumbling. So I don't think there's any. For me personally, I don't think there's any companion there I didn't like and didn't turn it around, because the ones that I'm not that keen on didn't turn it around for me, and therefore they're still not that. I'm not keen on them.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. But thank you for that. That's a great question, Mark. Made us think that, didn't it, Paul?
It did, yeah.
It did. Where are we up to? Hey, having just talked about that particular story from The Standard, is it time for Doctor Who to stop lecturing? Did you see a very similar story in the Metro, of all places? Now, we've been looking at the Metro for a long time here on Headlines. In recent weeks, we've been reporting about how a particular reporter from the Metro is taking a very brave stance, I think, that, and speaking out about it. He's a Doctor Who fan, and he always says he's a Doctor Who fan, but he's not enjoying the show. Not enjoying the show. And then we've got another journalist from the from the Metro who loves it. Or does she? Because she's back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Asia's latest Doctor Who headline, and this may shock you. Doctor Who's moral lectures are becoming harder to justify.
Oh.
I am so glad I am sitting down, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah, the penny's dropped finally, yes. Yeah.
Well, it seems it could do. What do you think of this, Who viewers? Because we're going to come into this. This was published just on Monday here, and I was sitting down at the time that this came through as well, because I think I was going to faint. Asia says, Doctor Who is having a sensational season despite the naysayers. That's us. Hi. I just want to say to her, I'm sure she's watching this show, so hello, Asia. Hiya. There's a couple of references. I thought, oh, she's watching us. She's watching. Let's get on with it. But I worry that there are clouds on the horizon. Because as good as things have been, the show would be even better if it trusted the audience to understand the moral lesson. Gatwa has returned for a vibrant second spell as the Doctor opposite Belinda Chandra, played by Virada Setu, whose one goal is to get back home. So far, so exciting, yawn. In this series already, the space and time traveling duo have been turned into cartoons. Belinda has almost died, and there's even been an almost forced marriage with a vengeful machine. Essentially, it's got weird and wacky, which is Doctor Who at its best. Ugh. But in the latest episode, written by Pete Mattei, Lucky Day, there's a hint of a potential issue. During Lucky Day, we checked in with season 1 companion Ruby Sunday of her PTSD after traveling on the TARDIS and joining UNIT on a return to Earth. She forms a romantic connection with podcaster Conrad, who reveals his true colors pretty quickly. He's actually a conspiracy theorist who believes UNIT is faking the existence of alien life and is determined to take them down. After the villainous Conrad is apprehended at the end, the Doctor flies in for one last monologue where he berates the former for his harmful behavior, telling him he's special for all the wrong reasons. During the speech, the Doctor, who portrays himself as standing up for ordinary people, slams cowards weaponizing lies for taking people's insecurities and fears and making it currency. It's a powerfully acted moment from Gatwa, which just about salvages it for the writer, but the content of the speech itself does leave something to be desired. It almost feels like unnecessary repetition, hammering home the point of the episode by directly addressing the viewer rather than conveying the message via action and dialogue. The on-the-nose explanation, as though it doesn't trust the viewers to understand the themes of the episode, could have been improved by focusing on the Doctor's wrath at his friend being hurt and defending Ruby. And perhaps the monologue would have landed better if it didn't feel like there was similar scripting in nearly every episode this season, banging the point over the audience's head. Sometimes it is needed, but sometimes the context can do the talking. For example, in Lux, although addressing segregation in 1950s America is necessary, and it's powerful for the Doctor to stand against it, it seemed strange to explain to Belinda why they weren't allowed to sit in a certain section, why she would surely already know. It was a small moment that came across as unnatural. And in Robot Revolution, we're told that AI is an incel despite all the creepy behavior that we just saw half an hour earlier. In the Christmas special, Joy to the World, it's made clear multiple times that the Doctor is lonely, only for Joy to use her final words to tell the Doctor he is, you guessed it, lonely. The first season is no different from the lengthy speech about loving yourself in Space Babies to both the Doctor and Ruby reiterating the point that Ruby's biological mum, being completely ordinary, is the reason why she is so wonderful. Of course, as a family show, there needs to be a certain level of exposition to make sure the message is translating to all age ranges before the show has proven its mastery at allegory and subtextual plotting. Before, with episodes like Boomtown and Dalek, which explored the morality of killing an enemy without quarter. And Waters of Mars, which reckoned with the Doctor's dangerous penchant for power trips when left alone too long. Of course, there are episodes scattered throughout the show where the message is laid out in explicit or even clunky terms. However, the impact of the past 2 seasons' big moments like Dot and Bubble's outrage and the Doctor's anger in Lucky Day has been dampened by spoon-feeding the point almost every episode. Especially in Lucky Day, where there's been far more discourse on the impact of UNIT's perceived untouchability as a military organization, which will, hopefully, she says, be explored in the spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, than on whether Conrad was good or bad by the end. This is certainly not a criticism of the show's attempt to explore difficult topics from racism to the dangers of online conspiracy. It's what the sci-fi series has always stood for, and that shouldn't go away anytime soon, despite what angry anti-woke critics claim. That's all of us, by the way. It's interesting that she's used the term anti-woke there.
Yeah.
But giving a lighter touch to exposition and moral diatribe, I could call it something else, and more gravitas to the complexities that it offers while trusting Ncuti's ability to convey emotion with one simple look would go a long way in making the episodes flow by without feeling slightly patronized. Nor is it asking for it to be thrown out entirely. As mentioned, the show does have a long history of making the point explicit, but making it slightly rarer with a nuanced delivery will allow those necessary end of episodes and small moments to feel all the more powerful. So bearing in mind that this has come from Asia, over at the Woke Tro. This is groundbreaking, and all I can say to you, lovely, is welcome to our world, because some of what you've been saying there is exactly the point, and you, for the last year at least, have been attacking us for saying so. Don't forget, this is the journalist, I use the term loosely and in inverted commas, who said, sorry, white straight men, Doctor Who isn't for you. which was removed and altered very swiftly due to the incredible backlash from Doctor Who fandom. This is how she came onto our radar for that ridiculous thing she wrote. But again, I'm feeling here, Paul, some of the RTD hypocrisy creeping in here with her.
Oh, definitely. What surprised me was, I mean, I think she said in a previous article a while ago that she's been a fan since the reboot.
Yes.
So did you watch the Jodie era? I know you didn't, but I suffered through that. And there were so many times, but honestly, literally, the Doctor would almost look down the camera and say, "Don't do that," and then cue titles. That's almost what it was like. It was so on the nose, particularly the one about pollution, Orphan 55. That
Right.
early episode, I think it was in her second season, and so it was all sledgehammer lectures basically. So if you're only taking her now to realise this, it's been going on nearly for about 5 years, just about, in terms of lecturing people, honestly.
Yeah, I think she's missing the point again. She's almost there, but missing the point. And I can't stand this whole thing about, again, reiterating this thing. And we're getting to this point now because they've all been brainwashed in a sense with this thing. This is what Doctor Who always did. No, it didn't. Doctor Who was just always good family drama, science fiction about a man in his TARDIS through time and space fighting blooming bug-eyed monsters most of the time. Do you know what I mean? There was never certainly the odd episode. But where's the message in Deadly Assassin? What message there?
Yeah, the thing about it is, I mean, often Doctor Who had lots of different layers, which is fine. And you can read anything you want from it, but it's subtle enough for you to make your own choices. That's the way it should be. It doesn't have to be, like I said, one-sided. It has to be either balance or be hidden in the story so you can explore the subtext of that story if you want to, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
Because what happened to that survival, the fact that Ace and Kara are lesbians, where did that come from? That's reading subtext into something else. You know what I mean?
Well, it is. I mean, that's the whole problem with some elements of fandom as well, insisting there's a context there that isn't, and then show business people who are involved with that particular thing saying, "Oh yeah, go on then if you want it to be."
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, all they were doing back then, and JNT would never have allowed that in there.
Yeah.
You know, because he knew what, love him or loathe him, he knew what Doctor Who was, and he wasn't going to allow this sort of thing in under his watch. Remember, he famously said, "No hanky panky in the TARDIS."
But one thing, but Ace didn't say all season or 2 seasons. Oh, by the way, my name's Ace. I'm a lesbian. She didn't do that, did she? No.
I know, no. Well, she wasn't though.
But she wasn't. That's what I mean. But so there wasn't that kind of sledgehammer stuff. So if that was in there, if Rona Munro wrote that in, then fine. If she did, but you don't need to apply it to your viewing if you don't want to. You can pick out what you want. That's the way it should be. It should be on different levels, really, shouldn't it?
Well, it really should be. But again, she's right about this thing. She's finally cottoned on to the fact that what we're getting at as fans is the constant hitting over the head with the message. Sometimes I feel, do you remember He-Man and She-Ra in the 80s, guys? At the end of each episode of these things, and it came a lot in an awful lot of American things at the time, there was always the purpose of the story recap. Now, we didn't do that in Britain because we didn't need to. We just got on with the story and then went and got on with our lives, basically. We didn't need the lesson learned in this story. I don't know why the American public back then needed it, but we certainly didn't. Eventually, they started cutting it because it wasn't very British. So they got rid of those things and you just got the episode. But in Doctor Who, I feel like that is all the time. I'm getting through these episodes with Gatwa, which is a chore, by the way, and I'm actually really done with it. I'm not looking forward to Saturdays at all.
Yeah.
But, that's what I feel it is. And I do feel the exposition is far too much. And now I find myself tuning in deliberately because we're doing the reviews going, right, where's the messages? Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
But it seems like Asia is getting it slowly, and this is what I mean about the media in the UK turning on the show, because I think it's starting to wake up and they're starting to look at the criticism from fans especially, and they're going, right, I need to look at this because there's a story here. And with the tide changing slowly but surely in the UK, they're trying to jump on the next bandwagon, aren't they?
I'd be interested to see what the moral is or the message is in next week's episode, as it's set in a barber's shop. But I did read this bizarre theory about that perhaps the barber is a Time Lord. The barber is like the doctor, the master that is, oh, please, really? The
Oh,
barber? What, he cuts hair on Gallifrey? What is going on there?
really? Oh, no, I can't be done with it all.
I
can't be
think Bob Baker might like that, because remember, you wanted to call John Pertwee's doctor was a hairdresser and a clown, remember? So you might like that. I don't know.
Hairdresser and the clown, yeah. Oh, God love him.
Yeah.
Stephen Braddock saying to us, the times they are changing slowly but surely. And Bedweir is with us. Listen, everybody say get well soon to Bedweir. He's not that well at the moment. Hello,
Yes.
mate. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're well. Hope you got your feet up and you've got a nice cup of tea or something.
Yeah. I'm glad you're home, mate. All the best.
Yeah. Which emotions is Shooty able to convey with just the look besides sad and crying, says Bedweir.
Not many. It runs the gamut of emotion from A to B, and I'm stuck, really. That's it.
You're being very kind there.
Yeah. He's kind of, there's a switch in the back of him, like Action Man, that just comes on. He just does flash. You know,
yeah.
Tiny tears kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't know is the answer to that, Bedweir. It's a great question, that one. Andy's with us, Andy Gledhill. This is yet another stupid journalist that thinks post-2005 Doctor Who is the only iteration of the show. There's a hell of a lot of them around, though, isn't there, Andy? Yeah. And this is what I mean now. This is why I'm now actually quite worried about any future reiteration, because it could possibly go to that age group.
Well, it's been 20 years. That's the problem. You know, it's been a long time.
Yeah. Mike Disney, though, is saying bravo to Asya. At least she's getting there. At least she's starting to look at things that are a little bit less boxed. Let's see where she goes with it, though. Let's see what happens next. And Jess is saying to us, with any of these shills, it's the underlying subtext you can't ignore. All smiles whilst in the back, ...
Yeah.
Most fans... While most fans of Simon Mills closed the book on Doctor Who in 2017, they did. They absolutely did.
Yeah.
Stephen Braddock is saying to us, she's seen the light. Well, mostly. Nearly.
I think we're all desperate to be optimistic about Doctor Who being good again after Capaldi, and we've been let down so many times, but we're still desperate for it to be good. That's the thing, the optimism, you know.
That's all we want. I still believe Doctor Who could be a cracking money earner for the BBC. Huge ratings, great family entertainment. I still believe it, but you know, who's going to do it? There's nobody to do it, as far as I know, because of the way show business is. That's why I think it needs a rest, while show business and entertainment, which we know is poisonous right now,
just itself.
Yes, and needs to get back to reality. But as we've said before, it's going to take years. Julianne is saying, oh, so she still thinks the message is right, just that it needs to be more patronizing for us dimwit trolls and less aggressive. She wants the boiling frogs approach. Well, it seems actually. It does seem that. I don't know. Let's see where she could go. And Woodhouse 122, stop it. No, it's not going to happen. I think JT should do an Orphan 55 review. I am not going to watch Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who.
You have to send him money or annuals or something, and he'll do it.
No, it's not going to happen. It's an era that just does not, from everything I've heard about it didn't interest me when she was cast, because I didn't want a female Doctor Who in 1981, and I certainly didn't want one in 2017. And I also knew, because the announced Chibnall was taking over, I knew it was going to be rubbish. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, he's going to upset a hell of a lot of Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. I think if you, in theory, if you did do it, there'd be a lot of swearing and steam coming out your ears and stuff. It'd be a very, very blue show, I'd imagine.
It could be a late night version.
A late night version, yeah. So,
11 o'clock, Who's Views? Mark A. Wright is saying to us, journalists need to appeal to their readership. This about turn shows how fast the tides have turned. It does, doesn't it? Because things are turning. And I see it more when it comes to the politics side of things, Mark, as well, where, again, it's a bit like RTT himself. They're up and down, depending on the flavour of the day. So everything at the moment is, let's face it, it's anti-government. Because the public is anti-government, but it's also not quite on fact with this other thing we've got called reform. They're not quite there yet with that, because a lot of them just won't allow themselves to support that, because there's still an awful lot of people out there that are going, because of the propaganda around them.
Well, it's a bit like the Titanic, isn't it? These journalists or the showbiz people are on the Titanic. She's on one of the lifeboats trying to get onto another ship that's a better ship. That'll be the right ship to be on when the tide turns, basically. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So they're keeping their options open.
Yeah.
It is patronizing to Cara Hughes. It's total cringe. I mean, there are cringe moments in other series, but they don't seem as bad. And problem being is since good sci-fi is dispassionate and allows its audience to make up their own mind. Good
Yeah.
sci-fi for me as well. They just it just makes me, it takes me away from the real nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can go back still and watch the original Star Wars, 1977. Yes, okay. These days they call it Episode 4. To me, it's still number 1.
Yeah.
You know, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, it was Star Wars. I can watch that anytime now. And for some reason, the magic is still there for me with those beautiful characters, those great actors. And I forget everything. I just forget my problems. I forget the real day. And that's why I was saying, you know, sometimes I'll watch Doctor Who, the new series of Doctor Who, and I'll have to go back and watch either a Star Wars or a Star Trek film with Kirk.
Yeah.
To remember what science fiction sort of
or
is.
watch a classic Doctor Who episode. Yeah. And
something like that. Yeah.
and what New Who's done for me, and I've seen other fans say this as well, it's made you appreciate classic Who even more and how good it is compared to the current crap. It really does.
Yeah. That lesbian theory in Survivor was ridiculous. What a load of rubbish. Graham, it was part of this whole fan thing, wasn't it? I mean, in that lockdown where the world went completely insane and has never recovered in 2020, in my opinion, RTD did as well, didn't he? And he came up with that thing, remember, where he actually wrote off Sarah Jane for no reason at all, rather than just to contribute something to a silly book that didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
And in that, he implied about Nissa and Tegan as well. How ridiculous. Why can't
they live together and they have a cat? Yes. Yeah.
Well, Nissa died bloody millennia in the future of Lazarus disease, for heaven's sake. She's dead. She's gone. Get over it. There was no way she was coming back from that. You know? That was the tragedy of Nissa. Her whole life was a tragedy from the moment we met her in Traken.
Yeah.
If you look at her character arc, that's a character. It's one of the saddest in Doctor Who's history. From the moment we met her in Traken, she was doomed.
Yeah, that's an entire series arc in itself. It really is.
It really was, wasn't it? And I actually respect that arc. You know, the Pull girl. You know, all because of the Master as well.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Lee Smith, a TV program can take on different meanings when shown in other countries. Oh, thank you for saying that. I suppose it can. Yes, I suppose it can.
Yeah.
What else we got? Raymond. They kept saying the new era was great. Now they can see the wind changing and the show is going to be cancelled. They changed their tune. That's what they say. What they can say, they were on the right. Oh, that's what they can say. That's why they can say they were on the right side of history.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lee Smith is also saying Ace was a tomboy, and there's nothing wrong with being a tomboy, boys and girls. Let me just tell you. Al John is saying in Classic Who, two sides were always presented, even the Green Death. We have the point being that people wanted cheap oil and fun being made of the nut hutch.
Yeah.
Excellent point, Al John. I hate it when they start bringing up things like the Happiness Patrol or the Green Death in their argument.
Yeah.
Because it was like 6 episodes and 3 episodes, 9 episodes of 26 years. Big deal.
I mean, they had other stories that kind of worked on a little bit of politics and stuff. I mean, if you look at the Mutants, about segregation and stuff like that, but it was done as an allegory and done as a more subtle way of presenting it. Yeah, exactly. So, but it has been done in different ways, but it's not in your face. It's not, you take what you want from it, enjoy it as a space adventure or whatever, with great, fantastic costumes as mutants in it. Superb.
Yeah, because you know what? You're right about the mutants, but I didn't get that for years. I must have been in my possibly my early 20s before. Oh, hang on a minute. And that's because what was going on around about 1990.
Yeah, with Mandela was stuff. Yeah.
And because I'd been on rallies at that point, in the Free Mandela rallies and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, that's when I remember watching the Mutants, and hang on a minute, and the penny drops.
Yeah,
but it wasn't pushed on me like the stuff that I'm seeing now. It wasn't put because I noticed. I know I'm older, but I notice things when it's pushed on me more now, and I see everything now, and I just think, "Oh, go away." Go away. Josh H. Hello, Josh. How are you? I've always said it. There aren't many true believers who believe in this stuff. The vast majority repeat it out of fear, ignorance, career reasons, the chance to bully somebody else, or a mixture. Oh, that's a good point. It's a good point. Bandwagon jumpers, I call them. I don't know what you would say about that, Paul.
I would say bandwagon jumpers as well. Yeah. Whichever makes them look like they're a good person, whether they are or not. You know.
Yeah. Thanks for all your comments. It's great to see you all in with us here. Lots of comments coming through. Dixie Normus is saying the Matrix is fake news. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Well, maybe that's where they are. I hope they're going to do the Matrix. Oh, please no. No, yeah.
Craig Dunlop is breaking the news that he heard K9 and D89 were in a lesbian relationship.
I'd heard that, yeah.
Outrageous that is, isn't it? Oh, goodness sake. Heretic, what are you saying to us? When next week has slow figures, we will all be ists for not tuning in. Yeah, well, this is what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting to see, because this week in Doctor Who, of course, the story and the engine, what a ridiculous title. It's the first all-black cast and crew, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, for Doctor Who. We're going to be looking at more on Friday, so come and join us for headlines on Friday for that, because we are going to be looking at that. But I don't like all this stuff. I've said it before. I will say it again in the next few days, next week. I don't like all this segregation. They're ushering segregation back in, and they're doing it through theatre and through the arts. And I was out there on the front lines at the end of the 80s, trying to get it all put to bed and say no to it. And now it's all, and I just can't be done with it personally. I think it's ridiculous. And yet, you know, we'll soon see about it, won't we? But I am worried, Heretic, about if it gets low ratings. Are they going to go down the route of, well, everybody in the UK is this? I mean, I know they've done that before, but are they going to go through that? I don't know. What do you reckon, Paul?
Well, they probably will, sadly, which is that kind of misses the point of the whole thing, doesn't it? If they're trying to encourage this kind of aspect of being nice about people and letting people be themselves, all that kind of thing, this should have gone ahead as being something that's okay. It's a great thing to do this, I think, but you don't need to make a song and dance about it like they did with I think who was it? I can't remember now. But they did make a song and dance with the deaf girl a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? That seemed to be, she fitted in reasonably well. Great performance, like the girl in the Capaldi episode. They didn't make a song and dance about that. The fact they make a song and dance about this, it makes it takes away the goodness of it all. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
I think it does. I think it makes sense. Yeah. We're going to be looking at more on headlines on Friday, live on the channel at 8 o'clock. Come and join us. It's going to be what it's going to be, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? To benign crinoid, yes, we're serious. It's set in a barbershop.
Yeah. I don't understand how that can be exciting, you know? Like...
Well, no, but I'll be illustrating on Friday that it does seem to be a reworking of the author's stage play, just pushed into Doctor Who. We'll be looking at that. Lex, thank you for your super chat. Saturday episode coming up feels more like a Doctor Strange movie. Oh, I couldn't tell you because I've only seen one and I didn't like it. Sorry.
I quite liked them, but it won't be as good as that.
I watched it and I thought, what the hell is Benedict Cumberbatch doing this? And I thought, oh, money.
Yeah. I thought he was a good Doctor Strange, though. I think he played it really well. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. Do you not like it? No. Okay.
I just thought it was boring. I'm over the superhero stuff. I'm not even going to see Superman. It looks rubbish.
Oh, Superman looks terrible. Yeah. What have they done to the costume? My God.
I know, it's so flimsy and loose and stuff like that. It doesn't look like he's got the kids' pajamas you see him in Primani.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, as well, what annoys me about Superman is they can't possibly replace Christopher Reeve as Superman, but they constantly try and recast someone who looks like him, or, you know, it's like, come on, stop it. You just find your own, you know?
I'm just done with it. There's been too many superhero films for me over the last few years, and I'm done with it. Although I did like the first Wonder Woman one. I thought it was a brilliant film.
I enjoyed that film as well. Yeah, she's really good. She's perfect for it, yeah.
Oh,
she's not Linda Carter, but she's perfect for it, yeah.
I know, but she's gorgeous as well, isn't she?
Oh, she is definitely, yeah.
Beautiful. I can see why she got it as well. She ticks all the boxes in a nice way.
Yeah.
Lee Smith is saying to us, I hope Gatwa wears something really daft for the Eurovision. Well, listen, if you go and look at our channel, you can see this. It says on the channel what's coming up on the show, live shows that are coming up, and the thumbnail for that show is there, and that's the costume he's wearing. It's that pinky, reddish, orangey thing, whatever it's going to be. That's his costume, or one of them probably, for the Interstellar Song Contest. It's all there for you to like and get it marked down and ring your bell so you know when it's coming up for our review. Okay, because after the barbershop thing this weekend, it's that one.
Yeah. We'll have to draw your pictures for that one.
You will, because if you don't know, I won't be watching that. The guys will be, but I won't be. and it's going to be a little bit of a twister of our review episode there, because they're going to be coming on to tell me all about it, tell me of their favorite bits, their non-favorite bits, and you guys as well, those of you who are watching it there. So it'll be a little bit different, because I'm going to be sitting here like that.
You'd expect us to have favorite bits. That's optimistic. Yeah.
You never know, you might get something.
You might, yeah.
Off topic, says Minkin2. Hello, Minkin2. The old US TV shows. Go ahead. They could not just have shows that were just selling toys to kids and had to make them have meaning. So the workaround was to put a moral at the end of the episodes. You've just reminded me of that, of course, the way that American television differed hugely to British television. British television wasn't selling anything usually. It was usually about entertainment only. But of course, in America, Paul, some of the stuff tied in with whatever gimmick they were selling, especially the Masters of the Universe, including She-Ra, because they had a range of bloody toys, didn't they? Massive sellers around the world.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Was that Mattel? Right. Was it Mattel who did the toys or something like that?
It was Mattel that did the He-Man stuff.
I think it was. Yeah.
And why did they always do the She-Ra stuff when that came out? Not as beautifully as they did today. It was like weak as water, girly dolls, wasn't it, for Barbie like stuff? It was horrible stuff. And yet you had the big butch things, and she would have worked in that range. I'm glad they've corrected it now. Do you know you can get the? I'm going off on one now. Sorry, everybody. I don't care. You can get cartoon versions of them now. They've brought them all out again, and they're called the cartoon range.
All right.
For the He-Man and the She-Ra range. And the She-Ra models are beautiful, and they should have been the ones they had in the 80s. They would have been massive sellers, I think, because they're great, and they fixed in with the whole He-Man thing. They're lovely. A friend of mine, Alan, my friend of mine, he collects them. He's got them all. That's how I know. Wonderful.
I still wish we had character options in the 70s. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, not for my mum and dad, no.
No, not for mum and dad's wallet. No.
What have we got here? Turk Love. Next week's message is that a Doctor Who episode does not need any white people at all in the cast to be successful or interesting. Is next week the pinnacle of box ticking? It's got competition for the 1 week after, I'm sure, the Interstellar Song Contest.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at that, Turk Love. And G35, don't mind companions having a backstory in relationship as long as the main focus is on science fiction and action adventure story. The Doctor should never have a love interest, as it makes him too ordinary. Well, that's what they've done now. They've made the Doctor human, especially with this version. He's just human. That happens to have a time machine. He's more Peter Cushing Doctor.
Yeah.
In a sense, because the Peter Cushing Doctor Who, of course, is Doctor Who, and he's a human. That's what I'm trying to get at.
He's got Peter Cushing's trousers, hasn't he? As well, he does with them now and again.
Well, it depends. All these bloody changes of outfits. At this point, I'd just like to say, can I just say hello to Sean Cryer? Hiya, Sean, who's watching us as well. He hasn't been well recently as well, so I hope you get better. I'm glad you are getting better. Stay with us, keep in touch. But it's nice to hear from you, Sean. I was only talking about the other day, Sean, saying I haven't heard from Sean for a while. He hasn't been on the show for a while. So thank you for your email. I do appreciate it. Get well soon, Sean. Mike Disney is also saying to us, that's the great thing. It's there if you want it. Yes. If you want to do it, if you want to see it. Gordon Webster's saying to us, if you want to send a message, use Western Union.
Yeah.
Really?
I think Terence Stick said that as well. I think somewhere. Yeah.
Did he? Oh, is that Terence?
Actually, it's a Terence quotation, or Terence nicked it from someone else. Like maybe I don't know. I thought it was actually a film producer. Was it Louis B. Mayer who did? Was it Metro Goldwyn Mayer? I think the producer of that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. It's good to see you, Stuart. Hi, Stuart Barham. I had to chuckle, he says. Millie was on the One Show last night, so I heard. The presenter said millions of people watched on Saturday night. Oh, good grief. So they're pushing that thing as well. Is it still propaganda? Yeah. It did not.
But she was on the week after the episode.
What was she pushing then?
I don't know. But apparently she's on the week after, I think someone said, which I couldn't believe. I thought, why have her on after rather than before? That seems really daft. Yeah.
I heard she was going to be on it, Stuart, but I was not interested at all. I hate the One Show with a passion. If I was in control of the BBC, it would be one of the first things I would get rid of immediately. I hate it. It's been going for 6,000 years.
Yeah.
And I just think it's ridiculous, and I think it's had its day. I know it's cheap because it's done in the blooming reception. I know that's cheap, but please, I just can't be done with it. Also, she confirmed on that show last night that, surprise, still is here, Conrad's back in the finale. We didn't see that coming, did we, at the end of the episode last week?
He's the master, obviously.
Of what?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but he's back, isn't he, at the end of it? With obviously Anita Dobson's Mrs.
I
Flood.
know. We're not really talking about the finale. Just like another theory I've heard that made me laugh. Really made me laugh. That the bi-regeneration is actually a tri-regeneration. So,
What?
yeah, and Mrs. Flood is another version of the Doctor. Okay, or could be the Valyard. Kind of. That's another thing. So.
All
You
these
can't make
things
this stuff up. It's ridiculous fan fiction. It's incredible. Yeah. So
it is, and again, once again, everybody, it's just as well that the British public aren't watching this thing because the not-wees wouldn't understand this. Because if it is the Rani, for example, played by Archie, the lovely, the gorgeous Archie, I'm looking forward to seeing her. I just wish she'd been in another iteration of this show. I do like her. I think she's a cracking actress, and she's British as well. So good for Archie making it in the States. But if she turns out to be the Rani, I'm so glad that the British public aren't watching because they'll go, who?
Yeah.
We'll find out over the next few weeks because she starts to rear her gorgeous head very shortly. So I'm hearing. Duncan the Funky Evans is saying, how will Mrs. Flood fit into that? Anita Dobson. Oh, no, that's a point. I forgot she will be in it, but she won't be. Sheila Big and the Devotions is with us. Get well soon. Another person who's not too well at the moment. Get well soon, lovely. She said she has been with us, but she fell asleep. Cheeky. How cheeky. You naughty Sheila be in the Devotions. But no, get well soon. I hope you're better. And Woodhouse 122, it's going to be another record low overnight, up against Britain's Got Talent again after last Saturday's rubbish little tank.
And the weather's good at the weekend as well, apparently. So, yeah.
I know. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's, a friend of mine who lives at the seaside was telling me it was packed in his seaside town last weekend because people had just appeared for the days out from a nearby city. I'm talking about Brighton, of course. I don't really like to say it, but yeah, people had come from London for the weekend because the weather was so good, and of course all the other areas. He said it was packed. Well, that's what we do in Britain, isn't it? We go to the nearest seaside if there's one to us. I'm sure Blackpool's the same. God love it. I'm sure it's really busy. What else we got here? Oh, hello to Stevie and Jeannie Frith. It is nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. So, Anansi the spider is god of stories in this, right? So I read, yes, apparently so. And we're going to be dealing with that more on Friday's headlines live here on the channel at 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing our preview show on Friday. I don't know. I've never heard of Anansi. Have you? I've heard of Nancy, usually on a Saturday night in a gay club, but I've never heard of a Nancy.
That's an entirely different type, yes. But
yes.
So this is an African god, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Right.
But again, how many people in well, it's hard to say now. I was going to say how many people in the UK would have heard of this. I suppose some of them would have done nowadays because we're so multi diverse or whatever you call it.
As long as it's explained in the story, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything about it, I suppose, as long as it's explained, but it won't be explained.
Do you think it's going to be?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be either. Minkin 2, will Mrs. Flood be... I'm not allowed to say that on the channel, but that's naughty. I've got to read these things before I put them in. Thank you, Kirsty and Garbage, for being in there. Problem being in the chat for us as well. What's this? Azabaloa Golath is saying the costume looks tight. Whose? Whose costume? Mine or Paul's? Thank you for that. And Paul Seeley's with us, and that's another one. It's 4. Yeah. This show keeps breaking the lowest ratings every week. I wouldn't worry about being blamed on IS. I think we're all over that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
In fact, what you'll see from our show is that for the last how many episodes we had now, Paul? Is it 4 or 5?
4. It feels like more, but it's 4. Yeah.
Every week I've introduced it as Doctor Who is getting the lowest rating that way, and it's been down every week. So God knows where we're going this week. Could it actually stick at the same level, or is it going to go below the 1? Who knows? We'll be finding out, of course, on Sunday on our review, the big review show here on the channel. Duncan, the Funky Evans. I'm one of the few who only think of Dean Cain as Superman. God love you.
Yeah.
Bless him. Bless him. Although he's very entertaining for me on X.
Yeah. Well, he's almost been cancelled as well, hasn't he? I think.
And he survived, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And do you know what? They remind me now of the Doctor Who conventions because all the Supermen are getting together now, aren't they? And going on these lovely the banter between them all is hilarious. Yeah. And Dean's in the middle of all that, isn't he? He loves this. So good for them. It's nice. I think that's nice for Superman fans when you're getting to see all these guys that have played it in recent years or decades. Yeah. We're just missing Mr. Eve, aren't we, Godwin? But I love the way that they will respect Mr. Eve. I'm talking about Christopher, not George. But it's nice that. But yeah, if you're a Superman fan, I hope you enjoy your new film. It's on the way soon, I believe. What else we got here as well? Oh, Domgo, you're very naughty in the chat. Magic Stew, what are you saying to us? Eurovision should just have a Doctor Who intro and be done with it and make it an episode. Have him cry halfway, job done, evening all. Well, good evening to you, Magic Show. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? As Bezweer was saying, there's a footy ball thing going on beforehand that Ian's interested in, I think, as well. And if that runs over, Eurovision has to start at the exact time that it starts, because it's Eurovision. It's not the BBC control, it's Eurovision, and the whole of Europe comes together at that particular point.
I'm thinking that the Eurovision episode that something happened, one contestant from whichever universe or planet will be murdered, and the Doctor have to step in and sing their entry into that, and he'll be singing again. I bet he does. It'll be something like that, I'm sure. Yeah. And I'm making this up. I've not seen any episode clips or anything at all, but that wouldn't surprise me. The Doctor sings in that episode.
Do you know I have to sleep tonight? You know that, don't you?
Sorry, so I'm getting nightmares now. Sorry.
Oh, he's just scared me. Can you tell who? He's just worried me there. Oh no, that could happen, couldn't
Honestly,
it?
Well, he did sing, along with the rest of the kind of people in the Devil's Board, remember? So
yeah, and didn't he do it in the Goblin one as well?
Oh, he did, yeah. But he might sing a whole song. That's even worse on his own.
I hope they don't put any of that nonsense into this. We'll find out soon. Derek Hart said, read on GB News today, PC won't go into another level. That vintage TV channels, that's TV, Rewind TV, Talking Pictures, that classic TV and film like Classic Carry On the buses are now going to get what classified?
They're going to have a trigger warning. I think Terry and June's already had it, I think, in one of them.
Oh, he continues to chop any rude words will need to be edited out on those classic shows. Well, they started doing that years ago, to be quite honest, didn't they?
But they bleeped him out. Yeah, I was watching a Steptones on episode. They bleeped out a swear word on that. It'd been bloody or something. It was bleeped out, or kind of not bleeped out. It was taken out so it was quiet. But you could still see Wilfred Bramble moving his lips, saying the word bloody, like in a spaghetti western.
It's really just nonsense, isn't it? Who are they doing that for? Who are they doing that for? I mean, it's absolute nonsense. With TV companies, would you knock it off? We are adults. And those people that would complain to you should be in a padded cell, and tell them that. Grow up and get some balls, for crying out loud. We do not need to. Mind you, we've got a government that is not only dismantling our free speech and trying to tell us how we must think as well, but that's what they're trying to do. They're bringing in all these new alleged laws to stop us even saying something that might offend someone.
But let them get upset and then worry about it later. They're allowed to be upset. Let yourself be upset and decide for yourself,
Yeah. Juliana's saying to us, I see record-breaking low numbers again. Yes, she's looking into a crystal ball there, so you're right there. Domgo is saying R.I.P. Doctor Who, which is now canon, don't forget. And Charles Waters is with us saying, I was TV drama that had a black crew and cast. Oh, I was in TV drama that had black crew and cast. One actor kicked off because you of the colour of your skin, really? Well, that's happening more and more. It's the other way around now, unfortunately. And Mark A. Rice is saying to us, Doctor Who Goes to the Barbers is unlikely to be a rating smash. The first sub 1 million episode. You get the hint, don't you, Mark? You get the feeling.
He's got different hair in this episode, I've seen from the pictures again. So he's not going to get a haircut. It's not like a holiday for the Doctor when the Doctor goes to the dentist and gets a tooth out. The Doctor goes to the barber to get a haircut. You can't do that, can he?
How? And they haven't. Again, it's a plot hole. They haven't explained how this version of the Doctor has very short hair at one point and then manages to grow it. Has he suddenly got a new version of a regeneration style for his hair? What is he doing?
He's got some kind of hair salon in the TARDIS, obviously, clearly. Yeah.
Isn't it ridiculous, everybody? It's absolutely ridiculous what they do with it. I just think it's ridiculous. I wonder if he would defeat the enemy, or will someone else do it again? Says Bundy 4077. And what was this from Stephen? Yes, she was pushing the 2-part final and revealed that Conrad is back. This is Millie on the One Show last night.
Right.
We've got another one here for you from this particular one. Now, this is from cityam.com, everybody. Some of you may know this. But this is a big question, and we're all asking this one. Will Cooling is saying, what went wrong with Doctor Who? Will, if we knew, we would tell you. But
what
we
went
do
right
have ideas. Yeah. We've got various ideas if you want to go back and watch all our other shows. But he says in this article here, overcomplicated and expensive, RTD's Doctor Who reboot no longer works for today's television landscape. These are difficult times for Doctor Who, with the show celebrating the 20th anniversary of its triumphant return to British screens with some of the worst viewing figures in the programme's long history. What makes this underperformance so frustrating is that upon his return as showrunner, RTD has addressed the issues that plagued the show during Jodie Whittaker's tenure as the Doctor. Not only did he reverse his predecessor's decision to abandon the Saturday night and Christmas Day time slots, but RTD sought to bring back some riz back to the programme by casting young actors with plenty of energy and sex appeal. A stark contrast to Chris Chibnall, who, clearly uncomfortable about the implications of casting the first female Doctor, sought to dress her like the target audience's mother, always travel with a man old enough to be her dad, and would never capitalise on the natural chemistry between the 13th Doctor and the female companion Yaz. Is that true?
Well, that's what it seemed like. But they did. There wasn't really any chemistry between Yaz and the 13th Doctor, but they shoehorned in potential relationship chemistry with them, which was really awful. But,
I see.
And they alluded to it a few times, and they really shoehorned it in towards the end of our last 3 specials, and it was really fairly embarrassing, to be honest.
It's no wonder that people stop watching the show, isn't it? Really, I mean, with all that stuff that come on, he carries on to say, well, let me get my point here. Likewise, the self-serious tone is gone, with RTD bringing back the dynamic camera work, colourful sets, and bombastic music that made his and Moffat's Doctor Who stand apart from other shows. And yet today's series is barely getting half the viewership of Chibnall's last full season. Yeah. So he's starting to think about it now, isn't he? He's starting to think about it.
Yeah.
That's true whether you look at just the overnights or include the on-demand viewing through digital recordings or iPlayer. So that's now starting to get through with them, Paul, Who viewers. They're actually seeing the bigger picture here. And as Bedweir is always saying on our ratings analysis, the overnights go towards the final consolidated figure. So the less less overnight you get, the less you're going to get on the actual consolidated figure.
Yeah.
He carries on here. A surprising problem is that RTD has actually proven to be quite conservative in his approach upon returning as showrunner, whereas back in 2005, he overhauled the programme's format to ensure it made sense in a television landscape that had changed significantly since 1989. He increased the running time, moved away from serialization to a series of standalone stories. Are they standalone, though, really? No. With the occasional 2-parter and a loose season-long narrative. That's why I'm wondering, are they standalone?
Well, they're not, because they got all this running Mrs. Flood thing through it the same way they had with Susan Twist the previous season. So they're doing the same thing,
well,
for 2 series, aren't they? So
yeah. He also tried to better flesh out the human characters who interacted with the Doctor. Alas, there's been no such reimagining of the show to take into account the changes that have occurred since 2005. For example, the show is still aiming to be 45 minutes long, a running time clearly originally picked so that adverts could be inserted when it was sold to other broadcasters. But Doctor Who is no longer being syndicated in this way. The move away from serialization was clearly inspired by the need to ensure that casual fans could miss an episode here and there, but still follow the next week's episode. I see what he's getting at there. He carries on to say, but today they can catch up on episodes that miss whenever they want. Worse, the cost of securing new sets, new actors, and new monsters every week has made the show impossible for the BBC to fund by itself, while the pressure it places on an actor playing the Doctor has led to numerous accidents and injuries. Don't know about that one.
No.
And it's with characterization that the format is most showing its age. The RTD version of Doctor Who usually demands that the writer introduce a complex sci-fi setting, establish a fresh cast of allies and villains, and resolve the whole situation within 45 minutes. It's a brutal format, which leads Doctor Who to be underwritten compared to many of the best shows on television today. Look at the Robot Revolution. It had enough twists and turns to justify a multi-part serial, which would have given time for minor characters to be introduced properly, and for more of the story to be shown to us, rather than frenetically told in passing by Dr. Bisley multitasking. And that fast-paced and varied settings makes the show exhausting to watch on streaming services, which is increasingly meant to be the show's home, both in Britain and overseas. Surely, moving towards serials that spread a more complex, considered storyline over several hours would better suit today's audiences and allow the show to try new things. The elephant in the room has long been whether a cost-cutting Disney will want to renew an expensive third-party show that doesn't seem to have broken through stateside. But regardless whether Disney Plus decides to renew the series overseas, the disappointing British viewing figure shows that the BBC needs to seriously think about how to create a show that makes sense to today's audience. They've tried partying like it's the year 2005, but now it's time for something different. So that's written by Will Cooling, everybody, at cityam.com.
Well, it's like you said the other night there, JT, that not that I want to make the season any longer than it is if they had 2 episodes, like say the first couple of episodes were 2-parters, and they were developed a bit more, and they had time to breathe, then maybe, because as you said yourself, there's so many elements in Russell's stories that have got enough for an entire season of stories, but they're in 1 episode. So if they manage to stretch it a bit and develop it a bit, and have a script editor as well, but if they manage to develop it a bit and make it work, then it wouldn't be quite so rushed, because that's the problem. It's rushed, it's crammed, it's too quick, it's resolved too easily, or it's not explained properly or whatever. Yeah. So it needs developed. That's the problem, I think.
I was going to say to you that you had to have a decent script editor. I've said that a lot. Yeah. I'm going to repeat myself an awful lot here, because for a lot of us as fans watching this thing, it seems to be quite easy to say, right, that's gone wrong and that's gone wrong. Now that the journalists seem to be coming onto this as well, and it's going to be interesting, Paul, Who viewers, to see if there's any more of these stories coming up over the next few weeks, and what happens when the series is off air.
Because I think so far the episodes we've had, I think, although I've not enjoyed much of bits in it, I think they've all had potential to be developed into good ideas, but they've never had the time to grow or develop or be edited or whatever. And it could be a potentially good season, even if you get the stories right initially, at least, you know.
Yeah. A lot of you in the chat talking about this one. Duckula saying bring back script editors. Well, apparently they're there.
Yeah.
Apparently they're
there.
They
just make the tea. I think that's all they do. So
I don't know what they do. I don't know what, honestly, because I've said before, if I was script editing it, there were so many elements in each of these scripts. I would have said, right, see that, get rid of that, try it there, or move that, or develop that somewhere else, or calm that down, take those 2 ideas, get rid of those 4.
Yeah,
that whole scene, get rid of it, rework it. Honestly, so I don't know what they're doing. Peter Venkman fan said, I doubt having multiple parts would help current Who because they're too busy destroying characters.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Benign Crinoid, who wouldn't love to see a 10-part version of the Robot Revolution.
Maybe that's going too far.
It is going too far, I think, yes. Woodhouse 122, agreeing with myself to say it needs to go back to the multi-part 25-minute episodes. I'm a big fan of that serial format, and I think it would work. It worked before any of us were here for Buster Crabbe with Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
And I think it would work again today.
And the cliffhangers, just watching Pertwee on You and Eden, the cliffhangers are brilliant. They're such an essential part of the series. That would make it a great series,
Cliffhangers make Doctor Who. They are part of that excitement of going, how's he going to get out of that, as it were, and tuning in the next week. That's why the show was successful, because you tuned in the week after to see the resolution of the cliffhanger and then move on to the story, didn't you?
Or do it like they did with Davis and do it 2 nights a week. Do it like that, like Batman used to be, something like that kind of idea of 60s Batman. Come back, tune in next 2 days or whatever.
I wouldn't be bothered if they put it on twice a week.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. I'd get rid of the one show to do it and have it on at 7 o'clock on a Monday or a Wednesday or whatever. Monday and Thursdays are quite good because you've got those 2 days of waiting.
Yeah.
But I would do that. RTT do Sugar Rush scripts, says Lee Smith. Absolutely. And the Legion of James. They don't need to make a show that makes sense to today's audience. They need to make a good show with good writing, great actors, and stick to the tried and tested formula that was Doctor Who. Now, I'm glad you've said that, Legion of James, because that was one of my points to bring up. Somebody tell me what today's audience is. I tell you what they are, in a nutshell. Bored.
Yeah.
Fed up. They don't like the stuff that... If somebody else says to me, but the viewing figures for all the shows on television are down today, there's a bloody reason for that. It's because you're churning out absolute rubbish. Start upping the quality, not just on your police dramas for Monday night, for crying out loud. If I see another one of them, I'm going to go mad because they're everywhere. Get rid of the police things and start making other things and take Doctor Who with you.
Yeah.
Because as things have proved, if you do something that they want to see, the audience will come, and I think they still will.
I mean, that's the essence of the soap opera thing, isn't it? This, that the BBC, ITV, where they make soap operas all the time. Hollyoaks, Coronation Street, EastEnders, whatever. I remember, I think Innes Lloyd saying the reason why they stopped doing the historicals, the pure historicals, was because they thought other departments in the BBC did that better. You know, that's why they did more kind of Monster of the Week and the claustrophobic based on just siege stories, right? But if the BBC did that, took that kind of idea on board and didn't do soap opera, because they do all the soap operas all over the place, and kept it sci-fi, exciting, monsters, and went like that, that'd be completely different from EastEnders, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, you know?
Yeah. I think the whole thing about this as well is, I've said it before, I've said it again, Doctor Who isn't a soap opera, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they've made mistakes over the last few years, because they've been reading too many of their internal reports about what the audience is, the attention span of a gnat, that they're not that. And plus they've brought their own ideas into it. Oh, the great British public need educated. They're not thinking like us. How dare they, blah, blah, all this nonsense. And they've forgotten in the mix what Doctor Who is, which is a family drama about science fiction and about monsters. You know,
because even when John Pertwee was exiled to Earth, and that was all Earth based, most of it, it wasn't soap opera, was it? You know,
no, it wasn't soap opera, and that's the barrier. But now that's all and it's dumbed down. These writers are dumbing down because they're looking at too many of these industry reports, and the industry is poison. I'm sorry, I've seen so many stupid things over the last year. I've come to that conclusion. Poison, full of ideological idiots jumping on the next bandwagon to save their own career or save face, or because they believe in it. And it's dumbed down, and the writing is dumbed down because they think that's what the public can handle. No, we want quality, and that's why your viewing figures are down and everything. If you look at the BBC schedules now, it's all nonsense, isn't it? Far too many police shows on all the channels, all these dramas, which is basically how many more scripts can you do based around the same themes, for heaven's sake?
Yeah.
And then you look at reality things, very poor received quiz games. It's so boring. No wonder people are cancelling the license fees, honestly. You know, it's such a shame. Lex, thank you for your super chat, but I don't understand this. I hope this is not true. If it's true, I will be shocked. Netflix is Narnia. Aslan is becoming female. They can't do that. Surely the C.S. Lewis estate wouldn't allow that. Aslan is an iconic, and well, no. The same as everything else then, wouldn't it? That's iconic.
Yeah.
Well, stand by your bed, Lex, because it could be true. I was so looking forward to that Narnia series as well. I was even thinking about, should we review it here on the channel? But I've stopped Netflix, so I can't.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Respect your material you're using. You don't need to change it. Why change it? Don't do it if you're going to change it. You know?
Exactly. And that's what I mean about the poison of the industry. It started with the Ghostbusters thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
And carried on. And even through the massive amounts of losses they've had and no profitability, the Snow White drama, they're not listening. They're not taking into account. Oh, the audience isn't there.
Yeah. Why is the audience not there? Work it out for yourself. Yes. It's
common sense, but they don't have it. They're so stuck up their own bums, I tell you. You only have to look at the Tennants for that, don't you? And how pretentious they bloody well are. All those nonsense. Anyway, well, have a look. I stopped my Netflix subscription anyway because I don't like the politics, quite frankly, and I don't like what they're supporting, so I can't see it anyway, mate. But there we go. Thank you for that, Lex. Marie UK making a very valid point. The audience is what it's always been. It's not us that's changed. No, it's them.
Yeah,
it's them, and they're poison. Duckula, TV was better quality when we only had 3 to 4 challenge. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Although part of me, Duckula, would say as well, I'm so glad for the repeat channels now because I get to see a lot of shows I never saw in the 90s and the turn of the century because I was always out or working or both. And now I get to see John Pertwee again every day on the telly. And I don't have to come up here to get a DVD or Blu-ray. I'm so lazy. I just don't care.
Talking about Blu-rays, have you rearranged your shelves? I meant to say that earlier. The back shelves look different.
No, I did dust, but no, everything's still in the same order.
So they've just been moved because you dusted them. That's all.
That's all. They're still in broadcast order there.
I just above it, all your figures look different. Like they've been repositioned or something. Is that different?
Yeah, just because I dusted.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You have to just occasionally, don't you?
Oh, I know. Just occasionally. I'm
just
with
occasionally.
Quentin Crisp on that one, to be fair. But
I know, yeah, that's brilliant, that one. Woodhouse 122 saying the average viewer hates being spoon-fed woke ideology. They want escapist entertainment. We're seeing more of this now. I mean, they call it the culture war. There is no war. It's ridiculous. It's these idiots, a minority when you think about how many people are in our beautiful country, enforcing their ideology on the rest of us, and we're all turning around going bugger off.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact is, because we know all the politics now of everybody going now, you are going to, as I've always said, lose 50% or more of your audience. So it's better to keep your trap shut and keep your audience. And it's better to not push it in. Writers, directors, showrunners, producers, executives, don't push your ideologies, don't push your politics into a TV show, because it's not going to strike with the millions and millions and millions that you could possibly get. Let's think of an example of that. Oh, look, Doctor Who. Listen to what the public are telling you. Listen to what the fans tell you. They are thick as mince. I'm sorry. Paul Rose is saying to us here, we just want drama and scares, not quirky camp comedy. If we wanted quirky camp comedy, we'd ask for Are You Being Served to be back, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Or some version of that. But we haven't. RTD only knows how to write soap operas, so Sheila B. I'm not going to argue with that. I guarantee you this thing he's writing for next year on Channel 4 is going to be a massive flop. Good. Chibnall hired political writers, not science fiction writers, says Duckula. Did he? So I'm not interested. I don't know anything about that, but did he?
I can't remember. I mean, he wrote most episodes himself. Most of them. A couple were written by other people, but he did that Russell was doing the kind of joint credit. So it was them and Chibnall with whatever kind of thing. But I can't remember. The writers are so memorable. I can't remember who they were. So.
Oh, didn't the children's author that I used to know do one? Marjorie.
Oh yes, she did the Rosa Parks one, I think.
Right. That would explain that.
I forgot.
Paul Schlafter is saying to us, I'd rather watch Dimensions in Time than this week's episode, Behave.
Yes, please.
We are going to be looking at Dimensions in Time on this channel. I'm not telling you when, because I've got to prepare myself, and it might take a few months. But yes, because I don't like it. But we are going to be looking at it. So stay with us. It's going to be part of a series we're doing. So, yeah, just stay with us. Derek Hart is also saying to us, too many TV channels and TV streaming services in competition. Now remember the day when it was only 4 TV channels, when millions would tune in on the popular shows. Now TV is lucky to get over 1 million.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right, but they do. Some shows are getting over the million, as we've seen and as we've reported. And you have to look at that and say, why? Why are they getting over 1 million? You know, they're getting over 1 million because people want to see them. That's all it is. And the big ones, of course, Paul, were Wallace and Gromit and Gavin and Stacey, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, which is up for a BAFTA, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah.
They're going to get a few. I bet you they're going to sweep the board.
The government have not sorted out the compensation for the post office people, though, have they?
No.
Naughty government. Yeah.
Exactly. What we got here for you? Let's go through these. Paul Seeley saying, "Do you think we could have a Doctor Who area in Universal UK if it was popular?" No. Personally, no. I don't think we could. What about you, Paul?
I don't think so either. I mean, I don't know how that would work with Universal, because it's not. They don't have the IP for it, do they? So I know they had the rights before with the TV movie for a short time, but not anymore. Yeah. But yeah.
I don't think they have the imagination, personally. The best things for us were growing up here in the UK were, of course, the original Blackpool exhibition, Longleat, those wonderful things, which were ahead of their time. Now, how would you do that? I mean, I look at that Star Wars thing they've opened at Disney, and I just think, well, that looks boring.
Yeah. And it's very expensive as well, isn't it? The Star Wars fun park, theme park. Even.
So, do I think that could work? Personally, no. Would I go to it? I wouldn't be interested. I mean, the only thing we can do with Doctor Who is basically do proper big exhibitions like the Experience tried to do, and was there for that many years, and it was nice to go to. It was nice to visit. You could spend as many hours you wanted there. They needed a decent coffee shop.
The recent one they did that was kind of traveling around museums and stuff around various UK cities, that was really good. Wasn't a patch on Blackpool, but it was good.
Yeah. That reminds me, actually, we've got a show coming up. Keep an eye out for it, because our Phil has been to a recent exhibition as well. He's going to be coming to tell you all about it. It's in Peterborough, the exhibition. So he went with his kids, and they're going to be coming on to tell us all about it. So stay tuned for it.
I've seen some of his great photographs he put up on Facebook. Looks superb. Really good.
It does. Looks really good. So thanks for that question, Paul. We've got Marie UK, and thank you very much for your super chat. One Vote Labour out to get rid of the BBC Three, banish RTD, and Tennant from Doctor Who forever. 4 stop DEI. Then maybe we'll get some good quality Doctor Who again.
Yeah. The question is when.
Yeah, it's going to take a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
But thank you, Marie UK. Thank you for that, darling. And David B. JT Dustin will get a bigger audience than Gatwa. That's funny. And they still call me Ricky. Hello, nice to see you. It's just us screaming at the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's always been the way, and it's never going to change. So I don't know why they just don't agree to disagree and get on with it, because they're never going to get rid of all that, are they, Paul? It's always going to be there.
Well, we're always fighting about something. That's a problem, and they want everyone to get on with each other. I wish we could. It'd be much easier, wouldn't it, if you just get on with each other and just
humans are always going to be humans, and
exactly.
It's never going to happen, unfortunately. You know, it's going to take some massive intervention to do it, but it's never going to happen. So I think we should just get on with it like we did before. We've done it for centuries.
Talking about the exhibition again that Steve has mentioned there, I know my wife has been indoctrinated to Doctor Who by me, because she was on her phone and I said, "Oh, look, there's an exhibition in Peterborough and Peter Purvis is opening it." I thought, what?
Oh dear. We get them in the end. We all get them in the end. Stephen Braddock is saying that. Yes, we have. So stay with us, because we'll sort something out with Phil to come and tell us. He's got lots of pictures as well. And our John is saying, saw the travelling exhibit in Liverpool. It was very good, actually. Yeah, I heard it was good, but it was based on everything else, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Llangollen exhibition was always on my list every year, says Duncan Evans. Yeah. And Dalek Eye is quite rightly saying they have too many doctors now to have a theme park ride about the show. This is the problem. It's gone silly, hasn't it? How many of them are there? 4 million or something? And hello, Real Steve. Good evening. I remember getting the 3D glasses for Dimension in Time. So do I. I've still got them over there somewhere. We're in the video of it, because I videoed it because I knew it was never going to be shown again. Don't know why I bothered. Rubbish.
Well, it's never been shown again in your house, has it? Until we review it.
So yeah, lots of people in the chat with us tonight. Thank you so much for that. I hope you've enjoyed the show this evening. I just thought it was very interesting how the worm is turning.
Yeah.
Hope you do as well, Who viewers. We're going to be back on Friday with Friday headlines, your Friday big show, and we are going to be looking at the story and the engine. We're going to be previewing that, so come back and join us with that, and let's see what's going to happen basically on the Saturday. Paul, it's going to be another weekend.
Yes, yeah.
Of surprises, I'm sure. Goodness me.
Well, you never know. It might be good.
We've been saying about that every single episode, haven't we?
I'm trying to be optimistic about it and trying to have an open mind about it, but it's very, very hard after the first 4 we've had. Yeah. So.
Yeah. As Domgo was saying, though, they don't see the writing, or they see the writing on the wall for the journalists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go, everybody. What's this from I can't say your name. Azabelo Golath, I think it is. The next villains will be fat, lonely incel virgins in episode 5, the Doctor's greatest threat. Don't give them ideas. Not that there's anybody there at the moment to take the ideas from you. And Amare's going off to watch Time Lash.
Fair enough.
For you. Yeah. Good for you. And when you've seen that, go and watch our review of it that we did at Christmas. Go on, there you go. So thank you, listening to everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you've already subscribed to the channel, please go and check to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We would really, really appreciate it. We'll be back, as I say, with Friday headlines for you at 8 o'clock on the channel. And then your big review show is on Sunday here on the channel at 8 o'clock as well. That's where we're joined by the rest of the Whotastic panel. And we'll have a bit of a laugh discussing it. Okay? Benign Crinoid has just said to me as well, I'm off to watch Who Done It. Yes, you can go and have a look at that as well. And we will see you then. Paul, thank you for joining me tonight, of course. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I enjoyed it very much, as always. Yeah.
I know it's always great to come and catch up with you all, isn't it? And see you all in the chat. But we will be back with you on Friday. We'll see you then. Have a nice couple of days. Friday, 8 o'clock. Ciao, everyone.
Good night, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.